Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. 2 o'clock. That means we have a couple hours left in the afternoon here on what's turning into a bit of a negative day for stocks. Once again, coming off of what we saw yesterday, a bit of a nothing event as far as the Fed was concerned this time 24 hours ago. But here we are again, kind of chopping around in that same range. The Dow leading right now to the downside, 0.9 right across the board all day long. It has been the bigger stocks, blue chip stocks that have been under pressure, 0.5% there as you saw for the S&P. NASDAQ basically break even on the day, really nothing significant to see here. 0.2 for the TSX, some positivity at the bottom, including 0.8 there for crude oil. Bitcoin and Ethereum still holding on to small gains as well as we head through the afternoon. Yeah, very kind of mixed board to have a look at, really. We'll get into AMD further as we head into the afternoon here. Paramount as well. 25% to the downside. We sat here in the pre-market. It was 14% coming off a bit of a miss as far as earnings are concerned for Paramount. So Warner Brothers here down, Fox as well, both 4.6, 4.05 there for Warner Brothers. So all the streaming names under a bit of pressure outside of, Netflix is positive, up 1%. So Paramount not good, Netflix benefiting maybe. AMD, 9.5%. SADG to the upside. Intel as well to the upside. If you missed it, looks like Microsoft going to help out AMD with some development as far as chips for AI are concerned. There's RCL, quietly having quite the day here. 9% coming off their earnings report out pre-market. Ton of strength still in material stocks here this afternoon. We had a few earnings in this group as well, but nothing too significant as far as price movement in the underlying. FLT was an earnings name this morning over in the banking group. Obviously, the focus, however, surrounding WAL and PacWest that we'll talk about coming up here as well. So very kind of mixed board as far as individual movers are concerned. Definitely some catalysts to discuss as we head towards, it's Apple earnings day, if you had forgotten about that. So still a ton to get to. Now back to 10.25 for AMD. Let's jump right into it because we have a ton to get to, as I said. We can go to the banks. We can go to some of the other individual movers here to start things off. But let's talk AMD. If you missed it, out during lunch hour, Microsoft going to step in with some funding. Again, this is according to Bloomberg. I'm not saying it's wrong, but they have been in the past, but hopefully not this time. AMD going to get some funding and some financing support from Microsoft when it comes to development of AI-related chips, guys. So what a move here on monstrous volume for AMD.
Yeah, and holding it too. So, without any, when I want to say real details is probably the word to use here. Like, what's the terms of the funding? Give us some numbers in terms of what's going on here. Obviously, what people are going to be thinking about is, right now ChatGPT, so OpenAI, trains using NVIDIA chips, right? So is this now going to mean that with that support, obviously Microsoft, OpenAI, that connection, is that going to mean the shift naturally would go over to AMD, which that would give them the benefit that they've been looking for? So I thought it was a bit overdone with any details. I was kind of too late. I was digging for the story. By the time we realized what it was, I felt it was too far gone and was looking for the short off the top. I don't think I was patient enough. When in doubt, it's all we tell this lesson over and over again. When in doubt, zoom out. Didn't quite look past far enough. I was like, there's the gap. You're shorting 90 and 90.5. And then I stepped back after I was out of it, and I'm like, that's right, 91.50. So a lot of times, when a news event like this happens, you float through liquidity zones till you get to a point where there was price acceptance or get to a very key price level where there were sellers before and where they're looking to get back in en masse. And that was above 90.50 in a 90, like that dollar right in there going back into Monday. So anyways, it's back to the downside, but holding up very, very nicely. Flip side of that is going to be NVIDIA, obviously. So if we go to NVIDIA here, you can see they flushed. So weirdly enough, AMD is holding the top end of the range. NVIDIA is not holding the bottom end of the range. In fact, it's actually holding up very nicely, holding the top end of the range as well. So not sure what to make of that. I would think that if NVIDIA gets back up to the top, I would probably short that double top if we get a chance. I'm surprised that like if AMD goes to the top and Nvidia is not at the bottom there, that'll be a little bit. I guess you can have more than one winner here, but it just tells me that not everybody is sure exactly what's going on. So be cautious trading them. Certainly, Nvidia off the highs would make sense. Is it going to break out the top when the market isn't yet? So I would go with that. Not much happening in the other chip names. That's where I'm going to be focused. Just the 1-2 punch on the chip names in the afternoon is where it should be at. AMD dip, I like 86, would make some sense down in here, but it doesn't seem to even want to do that.
Yeah. Look at my screen here, Brenda. Look, I'm logged into God mode now. I don't even have candles.
You don't.
Like, I don't.
Real traders don't need candles.
You think I need candles?
Candles, bro?
You think I need candles?
I'll tell you, this is what happens to me every day.
You know?
It's the.
Yeah, it's fun times. So there we go, Microsoft. And I'm trying to tell people that.
It'll load up eventually.
Yeah, here we go. So I just took this position while Neil was talking. 2:03, 3 minutes ago at 3:07.10. So we're averaged in all here. I mean, these this is hilarious. I think when I flip, it'll come back, but I just want to give everyone's attention that we're out now of 40% of this as it's falling down. And I think we want to hold this for just a little bit more. And as I say that, let's put something on the bid and get a little bit out. You just broke down through 13.1 right now. And there it is. Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Maybe we spin now. We'll get back going right now. But this is the trade right here. This is, remember, like I was sitting there, Sharif, taking pot shots at this thing, as Sharif knows, because he was right beside me. Probably doesn't listen to what I'm saying, but I was just playing around. But it feels like my wife over there.
Ouch.
Talking about that. But love you, Marissa. Hopefully you're not watching. And if you are,
hi, Marissa.
Yeah, what's up? But no, I was just going to say that we took, like, these are little hits. This is 3.0. It's too bad. You know what? I'm going to refresh some charts, see if they come back. But what I'm getting at is some of the hits there were 13, 14, 15 cents, so that when it comes back to the downside, you still are. Yeah, I'm going to close it, reopen. I'm going to figure this out. I just thought it would be funny that we had this on the show. And by funny, I mean not funny at all. But we'll switch it over there, and let's go back. Let me see if I switch to Kenvue. Do we have this on there? That's coming back later. So we'll talk about Kenvue at the bottom of this. Let's go over to Qualcomm.
Candles are overrated. Yeah. You don't need candles. Anyway, yeah, let's keep going. Qualcomm, obviously on watch, coming off that earnings report. There's a few, just to be aware, there's a few cannabis stocks that are moving around right now. They're talking about, there's a lot of people talking about the safe banking thing getting reintroduced again, so just be aware. I mean, they're not even worth looking at because the volume's so low, but anyway. Qualcomm, downside this morning, big time on their report. First of all, worse than expected, and this forecast that missed expectations as well.
The majority of the selling came before the bell, though, Brendo, because it's green since 9:30. In fact, that 103.50 bottom looks like we're hanging out 107s, 106.5.
Yeah, not much as far as action is concerned. I mean, it's been a bit of a choppy, kind of slow grind. Back to the upside, but look what's happening right now. We're kind of rolling over again here, guys, for QCOM.
Yeah, I did have the 106 short on this one. I got it to 106. It came back into VWAP. I reloaded. It ended up stopping out. But I'm going to kick myself because 107 was, you know, sometimes that'll happen. It's like you get away from the zone where you expected. Like this is 107 on the daily. So it gaps all the way through, holds support at the previous low. It's like short, the previous support level is resistance. And I short 06s. And then once that stops out, I don't short 07. It just feels like a lot of times if you step away from your plan of action, there's like two costs to it. One, you're not trading your optimal trade. Two, it maybe gets you away from what would have made more sense and what you liked a heck of a lot better. So that was Qualcomm and myself. And then lately, like right there, the distraction was AMD and Nvidia. I don't really mind that because you're going to trade what's hot and go over to that. I'd rather take that shot than Qualcomm 07. I'll go back to the well for this 07 on Qualcomm if we get a chance. But it is holding VWAP and trending back into the upside as we speak.
I don't know. I hear Sharif in my ear. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. I don't know if everybody can hear that in the chat, in the show. But if you can, we apologize. We'll get that fixed. I don't think you can. Qualcomm, yeah. So that was rough, but not really overly rough here. Oh man, there's these wicks going in, and we are. I'm talking with Rob right now. We do have a solution to this. I'm pretty sure. But there it is, right there, man. The only level that held all day was 107. So to have been patient, I think you were just talking about that, would have been good. So that 107 level right there, cash money on Qualcomm. We are a little bit too early on that, as we thought maybe 106 would be the level, and that didn't hold. So we got out right there off of some quick shorts. Never really able to make any money on this. We have one little fill that might have been a money fill, but after that, absolutely nothing. We're out for a cup of coffee on this, but yeah, that 107 held, and it held pretty good. And now that I look back on here, we talked about shorting 108 on the sticky notes, so we would have missed that fill anyways. But yeah, that's a great level. Anything on earnings? This is, I mean, I'm going to say the same thing that I'm trying to always say here, and that is look what happens on earnings, right? So let's zoom this out so you can see. Pretty much nothing here in the pre-market, not, you know, the high of 105 and the low. I mean, if you go to that low, 103.60, that's $1.40 in the pre-market with not that much volume, not very significant. And then like, look at this. This is just basically hits that bottom of 103.50 and then ignores that top and then just continues to go back up to the upside. So 106. So you have a 250 range here in the first 5 minutes. So that's too tough. Like, I was really peed off because we got stopped out there and then it came right back in almost immediately when we got stopped out. So nah, I'm gonna try to do exactly what I said. And I said, what am I, a little kid? Like, I keep going to the stove and getting burned off the open every time. So we're gonna wait on something like this again. But Qualcomm, definitely we were right about the short, but not really intraday, man. I mean, it's been sort of just trending to the upside. Pick your levels and stick with them. 107 was the right one.
All right, Shop next on the list here. What a day for Shopify still. I remember we were sitting here in the pre-market, and I turned to you and I said, is this thing going to be up 30% at the end of the day?
Good call.
There's 27 right now, and we're off the highs a little bit, but 60 comes into play there a little bit. What a day for Shopify on this report. That was better than expected across the board. They're going to cut 20% of their staff going forward, so all signs point to up, it would appear, for Shop.
Yeah. Market likes what they see, and you know, we had a rejection off 60 there earlier on, but then we had a nice buyback up right at that 57. Sean and I were looking at this one. I don't know, do we consolidate here or do we touch the high days again? I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, we cleared that 56 that we were talking about in the pre-market right out of the gate this morning, essentially. Hasn't looked back since. So next stops, guys, for Shop.
$1 million. No, not probably.
Yeah,
not.
confirmed.
No, oh yeah, you're supposed to do that, but doesn't matter.
Funding secured.
Yeah, exactly. No, probably not. I don't think it'll go
It's
back.
a good thing that Elon Musk didn't sell to the Saudis at that 420. Remember when he trolled everybody?
Oh my
And then he had to
goodness.
go in front of Congress and explain himself. But honestly, like, what CEO would tweet that? That's pretty ridiculous. It's funny that it was on Twitter and then the guy winds up owning Twitter.
There's a story about a trader that was on the floor. No, I'm going to get off topic for a second. There was a trader on the floor, and he came from a prop desk from one of the major banks here. And I remember when the original $350 on Tesla was before any of the splits, and he was explaining to me, which is hilarious because I didn't really take very many shares long Tesla at the time, which was stupid. But he was explaining to me that there was a bunch of debt that essentially, once Tesla got back over $350, essentially, that was going to essentially get wiped out. And it was a huge pivot point. He said, you're going to have a gamma squeeze above this price, and things are going to squeeze here. He's like, yeah, yada, yada, yada. I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. I like Tesla. I'll get a tiny amount. And then that was like the absolute bottom, and it squoze. Either way, it was a bullish chart, which is the long story short. Shopify, I don't care, whatever you think about the report, just recognize that this is a bullish looking chart. Now, I have to pull up my trade ideas so you can see the 200 period. It doesn't really matter. The 50 period, you were riding it with some breaks, and then all of a sudden you were already breaking away from the 50 period and supporting it above. So it's already bullish one into earnings. Then you get a gap through $50, so the channel break, that's pretty bullish as well. And then you take out the major resistance at 55 even. That was also incredibly bullish. So everything about this was just trading like a moonshot. It consolidated in the pre-market up around that 55 for a break. This is where it gets interesting because, quite frankly, I'll go to the 3 minutes to show you why I'm not happy with, like, right here. Like, I scalped into this zone. It consolidated above the pre-market high. That's the 55, the big level from the daily chart. That's where you got the long. That was the only level I was looking at. And then suddenly it gives you this double top from the pre and then the open, consolidates above it, that's your second entry point. Whether you're in here off support at 56.20 or you're breaking out the top at 56.80, doesn't really matter, some price in between, that's the re-entry point. And once it was through, it was just trail out what you got left because I didn't really enter anything more, and that would have been much better. The smartest trade I made all day, I like to think, was I was shorted on a lower high and said this was stupid, got out, like to me it was still bullish at that point, so I got out of the trade, and then waited for it to get to 60 even, which was the original target. I shorted that back to VWAP. I did not get a retrace here to 60 because it never quite got there. That's 59.35, so I'm sitting here not really trading it unless it taps 60 even or shows me a VWAP bid somewhere down. No, the 57.5 looks pretty decent. Very bullish stock. Great day for Shopify. Just put it in context, though, how kind of far this one's. It was down so far. I mean, this day in context doesn't look huge. It's really that 55 break that was a big deal.
I'm just getting ready to have a new position alert, and it's Tesla right here against 30. So, oops, I put the wrong price. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay, good. I did not. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to take, so first of all, Shopify, I mean, great trade, Neil, great trade. I think it was Max had Shopify as well, so shout out to everybody. We had the long Shopify written on here for 55. Unfortunately, we had a halt, some sort of an issue with the NYSE, and it's not this, hey, as a trader, you got to deal with it. I just was staying away from it, and I was looking at other things and missed that long. But again, once you break out like that, those are the plays. We talked about Uber. Here goes Tesla. We talked about Uber and everything like that, trying to break out past its daily range. It did that, and yeah, the rest is history for Uber. We've seen how well that's done, and then of course today, Shopify, just an extended move. So we're almost out already of Tesla. Again, we're short here at 9s or 10s. So let's see where it goes. It's just coming up against that same level. We've banged our head against this a couple times right now, this 162.30 area. Because we're heading into the close right now, we could easily take out these tops, and I just don't want to hold this to 163. So I'm going to wait. Like, we could hold this until 162.60, but I'm started too early then if I'm doing that, because I don't want to take that much of a hit. The downside rate here is 85. So to me, that's 1-to-1, right? We're short here at 10s. 85 gives us 25 cents, and our out is 30, so that would actually be better than 1-to-1. So hopefully Tesla can pull back in, and we'll take a little bit of advantage of that one. So we're watching out for that. And then it was a good couple outs for us. We're pretty light now on Microsoft, as that name just bounced again off the 200 period right there right now. Why are we going short? Tesla could come out in any second. I don't. But we're going short because we're below 13.1. It looks like we're going to take 13.1 now, but this is the life of a day trader. I mean,
I know, it's hilarious,
when you sit here and you make a call, you're not always going to be the exact price or the exact moment. You just hope to have something on when it does work, right? And that was my example here of Microsoft earlier when I was talking about Sharif and I. Like, here's small cut. Like, there's a short at, this is before all that, 306.80. Look at some out, 70s, 52, that's 30 cents. And then there it is, blasts up. There's our 20-cent hit. That's a flat trade. Then we do it again right here. We go short at 307. There's my out at 307.20. That's a 20-cent hit. And then we go again out. But then all of these ones, much more. This is 307.10 is where we're short. These outs that's a 40 out. So you make it back. You don't get rich doing this, right? But if it flushes, we still have some on board. So that's like, even right here on Tesla, as it's starting to go down a little bit, you just got us into position. So we'll put a bid down there where we said we would, in the low 90s, and then again, low 80s. See if we get a couple fills just to give us a little bit of that out, to give us that 1-to-1, and then we'll hold the rest for the dream. So if that comes through, it's not a dream if we take $1 on this. Let's see if we can get a little bit more.
Lucid
to
dream?
me, yeah, this is not a lucid, the lucid car there. But if we come back in, it's 10-cent winner now. No, thank you. We'll see if we get something out at the 50 period. Then we talked about VWAP with Brian Shannon. He's going to be coming on in a couple weeks. There's VWAP right there. I'm going to talk to him about that. 161.60 though is the 200 period. I think we can get down to there. One little flush, we'll get a piece out at 90. Then I'll get a piece out at this bottom wick, which is 80. And then we'll see about it going down. Other than that, man, we're going to get out if we take down 30 on Tesla. Let's go talk about the banks.
Yeah, let's talk about these banks. PACW, first off, was on the watch list this morning. Hey, it's open again for now. It hasn't been able to trade much at all today, unfortunately. Just all kinds of halts all afternoon, all throughout the midday here. I mean, we're back to 42, 43%, doesn't really matter. That move to the downside came off that move in WAL, obviously, if you missed it during the midday. There was reports circulating that they were going to explore a sale. They then came out and said that's not true and they're not exploring a sale. So back to the upside for WAL. But I mean, the story is the same here. These continue to be in trouble.
Yeah, a lot of volatility in an area of the economy where you don't want a lot of volatility, which is banking. Look at this chart, man. I mean, it was really to the downside here. 1135 down, then you gap right back up on the news that this wasn't legitimate, up to 1850. All sorts of volatility. To me, untradeable.
Just absolutely crazy action in regional banks of all places. Frank Caberna coming up in about 20 minutes or so. We'll talk to him about a little bit about the banking group, and
These guys love
Frank. We'll get a post-Fed wrap up from Frank coming up here soon, guys.
Okay, so just one thing quickly. We're always excited to see Frank, especially post-Fed.
He just gives us material.
Pre and post,
You know.
he's going to talk higher
And
level.
we can sound smart when we talk about things that he talks about.
And we just steal his stuff. So I got into NVIDIA. I was looking for a short
Bye,
NVIDIA.
Tesla.
I'm going to talk PACW and Wall in a second, but I rolled into this. Cut my chart for a second, guys. I just want to be able to show the trade because here's the lower high. I was looking to fade off NVIDIA thinking that, AMD news, NVIDIA bad. So it gave you this stair step to the downside while the futures were at a bit of a resistance. I'm now in that short. But I did trade Wall. All morning long, I was going to trade PACW. And then PACW just kept halting at the open. I'm like, this is stupid. I like the level at 20. I like the 26 level on Wall. I can trade off the 26 level, and I'll show you why. This is the gap down on FRC news. This is 26 for support. It gaps beneath it, and all of a sudden you want to short in front. So you have 26, this is 27. It gives you a nice area of entry. So I went over, paid for locates in Wall, actually started shorting it off at 26, and then this happened. I was lucky. It went into a down halt. I was already shorting it. I just happened to be shorting the stock when this happened. I got the help price, and then this nonsense was, whatever. Like the news came out that ended up being fugazi. I held on to 20% of it, and I didn't lose on the last 20%, but I comically got out making this top wick here when it reopened after that long halt. I have not touched it since. That's my story on Wall. So it was good, it was hilarious, it was fun, and it's my best stock, but the last out is quite possibly I've never held a stock that retraced that much, but it was a halt. What can you do? Like the whole time, there's nothing I could do about it. Once it opened back up, I said I was going to get out. Once they said the story was bogus, I got out on the reopen, and it was not a very good out. I could have probably executed a little bit better myself, but it is what it is. That being said, market rolling back over, and I can go back over to NVIDIA. That just came back in, now 274.5. It just took 60 pennies on it. Let's go downside. I mean, what's crazy about this, it's not crazy, but both NVIDIA, remember NVIDIA went down on AMD? NVIDIA went down, and guess what else is going? Like AMD's coming down too. Yeah. So I think we can forget about that whole inverse. AMD went up, NVIDIA's going down. The story's out. Yeah. I think they're both just going down because the Nasdaq's going down. So we can get away from the notion that AMD's up is going to be bad for NVIDIA. It's all coming down at this point.
Yeah, let's have a fail on the Nasdaq right now. So it's coming down, and we're ringing. Look at Tesla. I mean, we literally did exactly what we said we would do. So they were out of half already. So out some at 87, 90, out some at 81 into this, and then out again at the 200 period there for Tesla. Now we are out of half. So like I said, if this is getting out at 64 and we're short at 10, that's 50 cents. So, or 45 cents. We'll take that 45 cents. Our risk to the top side is 30 cents. So we're short at 12, so that's 18 cents worth of risk. My least out is 18 cents here. So hopefully this can come back down, and then we're playing, as I said, we're already playing with house money. Let's see if we can really get it going. And why we're short right now, I didn't have any love for the bank. Shout out to Ponzi, Fonzie, and Andrew Harris. You see, you get a 2-for-1 right there, talking about that's me being the bear. And I already tweeted that out. I'll take that, man. I was bearish today. The NASDAQ, I would be betting actually maybe green. We're going to watch. And the reason why I'm saying the NASDAQ possibly for a bet green is we have Apple coming after market. And Apple today, we're down. Actually, Apple's my worst stock today by far. And it's because These are all me. Remember I told you Bonzi Fonzie, that's me, that bear, and yeah, hey, it's me right now. Taylor Swift, what's up? I'm the anti-hero for Apple today as it comes right back into the downside right now that we get taken out. Good thing we did because it kind of just drifted up here into 167.20. So again, paper cuts hurt a little bit there today on Apple because we really were into our conviction that it was going to not be a great report. I sold some stock today early and pretty happy about doing that as a lot of these names have retraced even lower than they were. But okay, Microsoft. Again, we just flushed down. So we're 50 cents in the money on Microsoft right now, bouncing again off that 200 period. We already have an out at the 200 period right there. I thought, again, that the NASDAQ wants to break lower, and I still do. So I'm going to try to hold on to all of these shorts. And if you're wondering, oh, it's coming up next. All right, let's go back over to the board and talk about some Kenvue.
Yeah, we were just talking about the fact that there's an IPO that came to market, and hey, it worked.
Oh my goodness.
We got so used to over the past few years, IPOs coming to market, way higher valuations than they should be, and then just crumbling on their face. But I mean, a bit of a pullback right now. But I mean, this move was, I mean, it's what, $1? $1 and change to the upside, all kinds of liquidity in Kenvue, all kinds of volume to trade. Like, what am I missing here?
Crazy bamboozlement. I don't know if you were on the floor when it happened, but that little bottom there, we were all looking to get eaten up, and then it absolutely bounced back up. A lot of algo movement. But look, would Michael Noss say sell the frowny face here? We have a bit of a curling pattern to the downside. So we'll see what this one brings. But yeah, market working efficiently today.
Yeah, pretty impressive, guys. 48 billion, if you missed it, 48 billion valuation for the, I guess, consumer product side of J&J. That comes to market, 140 plus million shares hit the market, guys. So a legit IPO for the first in a long, long time.
Throwing shade at all of the Chinese IPOs that went up like 100 bajillion%. Yeah. It's like, no, it's a great IPO, but it's just like for us, like we'll actually trade these ones. Like we don't really take the zero float, whatever, just go long at the open. And those are the ones that go like 200% or 175 million%. That's, you can't even do that. But so I actually didn't even trade this one very well. There was, whether I made a bad stop out or I just think I bungled my original stop. So I got in at the open at 50, and the opening candle is a 3-minute chart. So this all happens in the first minute. Ignore this. This is the opening fill in here. And once I saw the 50 bid, I decided I wanted to make 2 trades. I'm like, I'll just stop out underneath at 50. And then if it busts that, I'll get long in front of 25 even. So one part of that happened. That's the part where I got long in front of 25 even. However, my stop bungled, and I actually ended up punching out and got a bunch out at 30. I reloaded, didn't get a full fill because it never came to 25 even. I got 27s. I was bidding 27s into 25. I got one of those fills, and then I was pretty much out once it got to 26 even. It wicked over 26, and when it came back in, I trailed it. And then it continued to go to the upside. So I'm not even happy with myself on Kenvue. Really, if I just said, screw it, I'm stopping it all out at 25, you couldn't have lost. If you just sort of said, like, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to go even dollar, which sometimes I've done before. For whatever reason, I didn't like that approach today, and that's what burned me. Typically, it's like just go long, first big even level, that's where you rest your stop, and hold it. And that would have worked absolutely perfectly. It never even touched 25 even. So successful IPO. I'm kind of curious to see how this works for J&J holders. I have to sort of look into it, how that ends up working out. But that'll settle itself out in a couple of days.
Yeah, no, look, it sucks to be, I mean, you're not that red on the name. It doesn't really matter.
No, but it shouldn't have been a loss. That's why I'm mad, because I shouldn't have lost on the stock.
I'm going to discuss
where you almost couldn't lose.
Yeah, well, I'm going to discuss, if you come to my chart right here, and this is funny because I'm up on the stock, and it's my third stock today. Actually, Tesla's overtaking it as we speak. But so anyways, you could see right here, there's the IPO long at 53. And then when it broke 50s, I got a piece out, which is right there. And then I was like, uh-oh, there's another huge size at 25. And it was breaking that. So I'm like, I'm just going to punch out now because the next stop is 25, at which I'm going to get out anyways, save myself 25 cents and take a hit. So we actually wind up getting out of about a quarter of it in total right there. So if I was a little more conservative, like I was saying to Neil there, I would have been red on this stock too. Like if I got out a half, I don't know if I would have been red because it did make the move all the way back up. And then all of a sudden we started bouncing around 70. And I'm like, okay, that's a 25-cent hit. Let's take 25 cents. So we did that. So now we're flat on the stock and playing with house money. So there's house money there at 26. There it is at 26 and a quarter. There it is at 26.50. I should have had another one at 26.75. So I was just going quarters all the way up. And then I was like, let's just let it moon. And right now we don't have anything left. We have a very, very small piece. And in fact, we have only 4% of our position from the beginning. So, what I meant to say was, you see how I have 2 buys here? So that's the IPO buy. Then it hits that level. Then when it takes the IPO price again, I bought more. So that's why, we're well into the money here on Kenvue. So anyways, I like the name there. I think that because J&J only spun off 9% holdings into Kenvue, I think it would make sense that if you had 10 grand or so into Kenvue, or into J&J, maybe you'd get $900 worth of Kenvue, something like that, the 9%. So I don't know if that is the case. Let me see what happened to J&J because that should tell the story. Kenvue came public at about 12:30 or so.
Close to 1 o'clock, I thought.
Yeah, close to 1 o'clock. So there it is right here. And I guess, yeah, so that makes sense. So there it is right there, 1:30. Well, that's 1:30 though. By the time it came down, I was already, what time do I switch over? I switch over at 1.
1 o'clock.
So yeah, so it came out about 1 o'clock. So right in here. And then actually,
big volume spike right here. Oh, you can see it. Volume spike at 12:48.
Yeah, go to Neil's screen.
Come to my chart. I zoomed in really big. Yeah. So this is it right here. It probably opened right here. Big volume spike. Was doing nothing.
Look at Softy. What happened?
Because we don't. Oh, the market's breaking down big time. Yeah. So it bounced when Kenvue bounced to the upside. Yeah. Now we're actually churning. Yeah. The shorts are in, people. Oh, by the way. Apple just broke VWAP, so that's why I think you're getting a bit of a bigger move to the downside. So Apple running. I got my Nvidia here. I'm going to draw back down to 273. I don't think Nvidia takes the low. If it wouldn't take the low on that AMD news, should it take it now? So I'm going to get out in front of that. But Apple just broke VWAP, and of course, that's a big name there. So that just rolled over. I can cancel my 67 short. I don't think we'll be seeing that again today.
Oh, wow, wee-woo-wee, guys. We were just talking about Microsoft and the risk to reward on this thing. Remember our risk was about 10 or 15 cents? Well, we're in the money $1.25 right now. God. So yeah, oh my God is right. We are going to take a piece out. Like if I don't take a piece out on this one, then I will definitely not feel right. Come right into VWAP. Again, so there it is, VWAP coming through one more time. So that's a good fill right down there at 305.70. So we're going to take that and only have one small piece left on that. And then unfortunately, we missed that trade. See what I'm saying? We did not have an order out, man. We're too excited there about Kenvue. I didn't even notice the market. But remember what I told you why we were short? 13.1. It's just that simple. It's not even really about the chart. But we did look up Tesla. And when you're doing this, and barcoding at the top, and then you break a key level to the downside, that is a banger trade, like this market red, because there it is. I love that graphic. That's by far my favorite graphic. You know what, Fahad? See if you can find, I don't know what this one's called, but I think it's probably called market red. We have
That's
a market
the best.
green.
Is it really?
I
don't have it.
Anyways, it's on my stream deck. I could probably find it to you, send it to you, and then figure out.
Dude, all I have is this. That's me for
I
market.
like that, though. Do you have the one up? We have an up one, too.
Oh, come on. Like the one where like the whole screen comes with. Yeah, I know. I have. That's all I have. I have an arrow, an up arrow and a down arrow.
I'm going to find the name of it and send it over there.
That's cold. That's cold.
Here's our stream deck, by the way. I'll give you guys a little tip.
Yeah, go.
Little. See here. See this? You guys want that?
Yeah.
There it is right there. A little barbecue action coming through too as well. This is Stream Deck. Shout out to Stream Deck. You can actually also trade until they sponsor us. That's it. No more Stream Deck for you.
Well, I've seen the trading station.
You can actually use it for trading.
Yeah.
So just like here, come to our. No, don't just show it. No, just lift it up.
Yeah,
there it is.
There it is.
So that we have the Stream Deck right there. So you can actually hit buy, sell, this and that. I would love to do a promo for Stream Deck.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's a
fantastic
tool.
Money.
I could see some traders. I could see some traders trading off something like that. Like all you need is like your market buy, market sell, limit buy orders, market on open, like just a few hotkeys there, bracket order, stop order, like all that kind of stuff you put in there. Gamers use that kind of thing, I assume. And yeah, we always want that data, but I like this one better for Brendan. That's just me.
Hey,
Yeah, me too. I like the dad. No, actually, I like the dad one because that's not a goat. So.
Well, it does, that's what makes it hilarious because that's so gangster. Like, we can't even get that right.
Yeah.
And why would you want to?
right.
Sometimes you just got to have a little fun with these things. By the way, guys, that you asked for the bet in the middle in the midday show, so
Yes.
it is up there.
Good.
Will the NASDAQ close green or red? Just format it like it tells you to in the chat. You got to be a sub if you want to do that. And currently, there are more bets on red than there are green, obviously. We'll usually close that bet up sometime after 3 o'clock, or if the market just goes way too far. I mean, if the market is at 13,000, I think we'll just, and when we say the market, we mean the NASDAQ, which is the bet. We'll just probably switch that one up there and close it if we get to 13,000. But on this little bouncy bounce, I'm going to look for a little reload situation. Okay, well, I'm not reloaded. I shouldn't say reloaded because I'm not actually reloaded yet. I'll wait till I actually get a fill. Up here on Nvidia, back at 275, I am looking at Coinbase. I was talking about this one in the midday. I did have one short trade, well, several short trades. The first one was as I made the switch and got stopped out, and then after I was able to sit down and settle things back in, I've been shorted back into VWAP. If it pops back into 50, fills 50 and above, probably above, I think in this particular case, be patient with it. But Coinbase is actually bouncing off VWAP and somewhat strong. Shopify, which is the beast of the day, 60 inbound again.
What?
Again.
Wow.
Like it's at 59, just broke 59, could be heading back into that 60 even. And AMD still catching a bid here. So it looked like AMD wanted VWAP. I wanted VWAP. I wanted 86, but yeah, we're not going to get it. We're still stair-stepping down. Let's see if it actually finds some support at that 86 level. With the market trending down, I feel like you can be patient if you're trying to pick up a long.
Yep, no disagreeing with that one. We definitely missed out our opportunity to get out of some Tesla down there, so we are now bidding Tesla down at the bottom, but we did not miss the advantage of Microsoft on that dip down, and I'm almost thinking it's reload time on some of these names. Did you just talk about Coinbase? No, you talked about Shopify.
Briefly, I did. I mentioned.
I thought
briefly,
you did. Yeah. Okay.
briefly.
It's not doing anything. I just was looking at that $50 level as a possibility there for Coinbase. Let's just check out Uber because this is a third-day mover now. We looked at this yesterday as a second-day mover, and what I mean by that is just pretty simple. It reported, and now it's the third day, and sometimes you get some good action over the last couple days. But look at Uber, man. It's straight to the upside. This is before earnings, bouncing off $30. This $30 bottom is pretty awesome, and then you come right back in and start taking out the top again right now for Uber. So that's still going upside, and I think it's going to get exhausted. But again, I'm bearish in the whole market right now. So this could be a decent short right now for Uber. Right back
Double
up.
top?
Yeah, exactly, Neil. Double top right here. I think this looks good. It's maybe even a triple top from the morning. Plus, you get some consolidation that we're talking about. But it also could, get higher right now. I mean, you still have top side here of 38.30.
There's a triple top though.
There's a lot of top here.
A lot of top.
This is not the top stock right there.
Don't look at top if your stomach is queasy because that went from $100 to like $42.
Jesus.
I don't know where it is right now. I'm gonna get this out of the way because like the third time someone's
Tesla.
asked me. So I do on the side trade like leverage buyouts or just buyouts in general. I'm in MGI. It's MoneyGram got firmed up the deal. It got like a regulatory approval. It gapped up from 9. It halted. It then closed. That's not closing till the end of the month. It looks like, but it's $11 in cash. This is what the stock is doing. I've been short 92, I've been long 91, I've been short 93, I've been long and whatever. It's a 2-cent range. If it moves more than 2 cents, then maybe you'll see me get a little bit interested or sweating on it because it's just kind of inside the range. Level 2 is like gigantic, all that good stuff. So that's it. That's the last I'm going to talk about it because it's really not worth it. I don't think any of you guys, if you're trading, unless you're like direct market access, you're trading it for a rebate and spread, and I can just sort of do it on the side. Well, not a lot is happening here, but I do like that Uber. That's interesting because if the market rolls over to the bottom, like you're looking for things that are resistance. We're not going to get 167 Apple again, I don't think. I was looking at that Coinbase top. I'm a little skeptical I'm going to be able to get that again. Shopify is really strong. These might not be able to come in. I've got Nvidia. I don't really want AMD. Oh, I wanted to mention, if I could, PACW. We talked about Wall, but not PAC. PACW, $4 is a thing again. So after that whole mess with Western Alliance, $4 was the level. I came in thinking I'd trade that. There was a bunch of halts that was quite frankly frustrating. I wasn't able to get into position on it and then missed the move down, but I had wall. Now $4 is a big thing. It's creeping back up there. If it breaks for like 425, take the fills in there, give it to the top, hold for under 4 even. That would be a play for me. But these have gotten pretty decently strong. It's just 3 is probably the long, and so up here I'd be looking for the short on PAC-W.
All right, I just got out of some Tesla right now, right here. So I was waiting at 30. I was just like, you know what, if we're gonna bounce off 50, we don't need the very bottom there for Tesla, but we'll take it anyways right now on that one. So we're gonna wait to see, but I just took another piece out. So again, short in here. It's 70 cents in the money. I have to take that. So that's what we'll do, 51s. 70 cents, we're short, yeah, 65 cents there, 64 cents. And again, you know, with a risk, we'd already talked about where we were getting out. So much well deserved here for Tesla. And again, let's just take it out. I don't need to be messing with this one. All right, let's try to find some more trades though. Does anybody have any stocks?
Wayfair.
Yeah, they've got what they need. People asking about top, we just did talk about that. $19 to $20, down 80% today.
It's at $19. Oh my god.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
at 42 when I looked at it last.
Right, but look at this. Look at it. This is, so to me, it's too disastrous here because like, what if one of these halts, like it looks obvious because it's going downside, but like, you don't know it's going to stop at 26.30.
The only short,
You know,
like, I think the only place you could reasonably have shorted
Maybe
that.
here?
No, I think.
Oh, like into here?
No, probably like this.
You're pointing to the
I'm
screen.
pointing
Yeah,
to the
you think
screen.
right into here? Yeah, so Neil's pointing anyways.
I'm sorry, I was pointing at our.
He's literally
instead of-
pointing at the screen. He's like, you could short right there.
As if you guys could see what the hell I was pointing at. That was. Whatever, man. I'm not a professional broadcaster. I don't have a goddamn teleprompter
You're
or
not?
anything like that.
You missed that. Just read the script that's right in front of you. You want to see a professional broadcaster?
What's up, Randy?
This is who we've got right here, man. This guy.
Yo, you got
car
candy?
and driver reports.
What's that, candy?
Oh.
I was asking Brankles if he had candy before and he didn't have anything.
The only thing I have is I don't know where this is from, but I have this.
Why do you have a lollipop?
I just said I don't know where this is from.
Yo,
And I have Halls.
trust this. If that lollipop is still there on Monday, I'm
What
taking
is that,
it for
Brad?
myself.
Come over here and show everybody. What? My wife makes that like it's going out of style.
Is it in front of you to eat right
a
now?
hot dog. Oh, I thought it was.
Glizzy, baby.
Oh, that's right. I was supposed to go there with you guys. Isn't that the dessert? D-Spot.
Remember when you brought
I have
that?
one by my
remember when you
house.
brought one of those the last time?
What's it called?
What
I
did I,
didn't. I was in.
What's
what,
it called?
what did I say to you next time you guys are?
Buy more.
Called the Glizzy.
These guys got those hot dogs a couple of weeks ago, and I specifically
I'm
said,
going to that
the
website
next
right
time
now.
you guys are going there, just let me know because it looks
It's a good
really
thing we had Frank and Bert on because
And I wanna- and I wanna grab one. So,
D-Spot.
Obviously, nobody said
menu.
anything, and now I gotta be
I-
thinking about that delicious-looking hot dog for the next, hour and 15 minutes when I'm always hungry. And I didn't even finish my salad today. I didn't think it was that great, and
I'm just looking. All I'm seeing is desserts here, so I got to find their other stuff. Oh God.
thank you, Fahad.
I think Fahad said it tastes amazing. Mahad's like, it's not that good.
No,
It's
see,
not that good.
Mahad was trying to be nice. He's like, yo, it's not that good. Don't worry about it, bro. And Fahad's like, yo, it tastes amazing.
I was wondering.
Of course it tastes
I'll find
amazing.
the menu after I can.
I know it tastes amazing.
I don't want to look at it for it right now. All right, well, let's just keep on going. So just
I
so
lost
you
my
guys
train of thought
know,
now.
like my internet is sketchy right
Oh,
now.
not again?
So we had yesterday, we lost a whole bunch of connections. So if we do lose connection, I just want to tell everybody right now, I am losing.
Well, Randy was just here, so that's why.
That's why. That's why.
I was just
Uh-oh,
about
what's
to
up
say
to my wife if you're watching? Shout out. She goes, let's go to D-Spot. Because we have one right by my house. So she just saw Prad there. And was
there's
talking
one in
about that.
Etobicoke?
There's one literally by my house, man. It's like right, but there's a
Whereabouts?
Denny's right there.
Oh, I know
My
where you're talking
house.
about. I know. Yeah, okay, now.
Yeah. There's one right
I know where the
there.
Denny's is. I didn't know there was one. I know where the
I don't
Denny's
see her
is.
in the chat, but she was in the chat on the midday show, so shout out, Marissa. Yeah, we can do that, man. They have great poutine as well, apparently. All right.
I'm kind of mad when it comes to poutine. Is it Canadian? Like,
Baxter had to go back to Waterloo, so we didn't go
okay.
out for him with him for his birthday yet. So we can do that. I don't know if he's going to
Gotta
want to
get
go
him
to D-Spot or not. I don't know. We'll figure that out. All right.
Yo, his age, they eat anything at that age, bro. Come on.
They eat anything. Oh, you can tell. And they eat a lot of anything.
Yo,
as
Baxter
well.
probably eats you, bro.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
all
no.
I'm saying.
He would order probably 4 of those. And
I saw that kid when he. So
I'm
Baxter,
gonna have to put a
Sean's.
stop to that.
for everyone that doesn't know, Baxter Sean's oldest. He's in university, but he was here on the trading floor working with the algo group. So
Losing everybody's money. Yeah.
No, but he'd be in the lunch line, not the lunch line, but he'd be getting food. And when there was leftovers, I've seen his plate after it's like everyone's eaten and he's going after the leftovers. University
Baxter was like
kid.
asking me, yo, there's like a couple burgers left. You mind if I take those home? I'm like,
It's like,
you're coming home with me. Of course you can take them, but we're having dinner tonight.
Got to.
But anyways, okay, yeah, metabolism.
He's got to eat.
I mean, you could tell that story where you had like 14 Big Macs or something
Oh,
at
it was
one time.
not. It was
7? I mean, what do you mean 14?
It was 4 Whoppers during the. So we went to Burger King. We went to a movie. I grabbed 4 Whoppers. The reason it was funny to everybody is because I opened them up basically when they started playing the previews. And this is back when you didn't have a million previews, and I was done before the movie started.
You're not allowed to bring outside food into movie theaters.
I do whatever I want to do.
Exactly, you're gangster.
No one's
like that.
frisking me when I go in there.
You're
This is
gangster.
high school, man. Like in high school, here's the thing. When you're a student and you're broke, you're entitled to do some things.
Oh, I was doing that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like it's expected, right? Like
Yep.
I'm not. Anyways, I won't tell any more
Sneak a
stories.
little beer
but
in there, or
first of all, no.
Pepsi.
I never once. Absolutely not. Would you ever sneak? You don't sneak alcohol in the movie theater when you're underage, Sean.
right. Oh, underage.
I'm talking about high school.
I know.
Underage
I'm
drinking
pretending
is 100% irresponsible and should never be done. And shame on
Who
you
would
for
even do that?
for even suggesting
Who?
that.
Who in their right mind would do something against the law? You guys insane?
I can't even finish that thought. It's so ridiculous.
Right now, okay. Yes. Okay. So let's go.
Frank is probably like waiting, like, what is wrong with these two?
We're never gonna give Frank up. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So don't worry about
We're no
Frank
strangers
Caberna.
to love.
Yeah. You know what I mean. So
You know the rules.
I don't know how. Like, I either need to be paid more money or a hell of a lot less. I don't really know where I fall.
And he
in
is
this-
listening to us
in
right
the
now.
spectrum.
I see you laughing right now. I see him
right
shaking
now.
his head. He's laughing.
Right now.
We
Well-
love you, brother.
Anyways,
what are we
okay.
supposed to do?
Yeah. So what I am going to give up pretty soon is going to be Tesla if this goes against me anymore. It's not against me at all. This is a good trade for Tesla. Shorting right here into that top and then just getting it out, right? First the 50 period, then the 200, then VWAP. And it doesn't want to give it up. So we're going to have to go back down to the downside right now. If these futures continue to make a move, we've already bounced solid off 13,000, like real solid. We bounced so much off of it, we went up 130 points and took out the day's high. Now I feel like we want to test again. So I'll take a piece out on Tesla. We just talked about that. But here it comes, down into the
Get down.
money zone right now. Because if we can get down into Tesla and break VWAP, that's where the party starts. Down here, 160.60. Let's see if we can grab this. We're short at 162.15 on this name. So that's almost 80 cents in the money. But one name that is not almost 80 cents in the money, it is $1.20 in the money right now. We already have a great fill on VWAP as well. That's Microsoft. Look at this, short, short, short. Sometimes wrong, sometimes right. But ultimately, yes, sir, it is one of those bangers right there as we short Microsoft back in. And then let's go. I just want to hold this. Honestly, I feel like we're going to go back to
Can you do me a favor?
13,000. Sure, I can do lots
Pull up
of
the Microsoft chart. When the AMD news came out, what did Microsoft do? Because I wasn't watching that stock.
Let's do this.
Because it's 118.
Yeah, you can come to my screen.
Can we go to just for a quick second? Indulge me for a second.
I think it was, what
Where's
time? 118. Yeah, right here, right here. Started to go up. That's why I got stopped out in my first short. And then we went long, and we got a piece out up there. And then as the news hit, it started to fade
So
back down.
basically, it's basically respecting the levels from before the news happened, which makes
Yeah,
some
like
sense.
we said, I mean, NVIDIA's kind of back up there, and AMD has fallen a little bit. Yeah, so AMD whipped to what, 91.50? Yeah, right there. We tried the short. We were like, man, we are about $1 too early. What in the hell? This day is getting so much better because we have the man. Get over here.
What are you doing here?
Look at that. This guy's a pimp cane, and you have a pimp cane and everything.
PIMP.
Show the cane. Show the cane. Look at this.
Like really?
Because it's a mother PIMP.
Yeah.
With the Rolex. Holy shit! I'm in the wrong business.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is the Kentucky Derby fit.
He's got fish bowls in his shoes, probably.
What the hell is going on? This is
My assistant's holding it over there.
I
right.
know. Okay, we have to go to Frank.
got an espresso there. All right, over to Brandon, our guest of the day.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, as promised, guys, Frank Caberna back with us from IG US to give us a bit of a post-Fed wrap-up here as far as the reaction. Frank, good to see you as always. It has been quite the day here as far as not only banks are concerned, we'll get into that a little bit, but rates specifically have been a little bit less volatile than I was expecting. Give me your thoughts here. We also get obviously the ECB coming through this morning, following suit with another quarter point hike for themselves.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan, for having me on here. It's always bittersweet because I love being on with you, but I hate missing out on the content from my boys over there. My gosh,
You got to come by, man. You got to come by.
I know, man. I need to make the trip. But anyways, let's get into it here because it was a bit of a weird meeting this week. We get this actually a lot through the years of the rate cuts that we saw, back 10 years plus ago, the rate rise going into the pandemic, the rates being cut coming out of the pandemic. And then here again, as we've been rising in interest rates over the last year, where the Fed comes out, they hike 25 basis points, Brendan, but they talk down future hikes, and you get a mixed bag of the market not knowing whether to be bullish on interest rate hikes and how that might affect stocks and commodities and everything else, or be bearish on interest rates. And actually what we've seen is a 25 basis point hike from the Fed, but since then, a quite precipitous drop in interest rate projections for the next year going out in time. And if you were to look at the projections going into Wednesday's rate hike, you would have seen them a full 25 basis points higher than where they're projecting out here today as short-term rates are falling, the Fed tipping their hand a little bit to the fact that they think this might be the last interest rate hike on their board for the future. And the market now, especially with the bank crisis that we'll get to here in a second, how that's correlated to interest rates and everything else, that's really taking the front page, so to speak, of interest rate traders' minds here, as we have fallen from being around 4% in interest rates by the end of this year, maybe 3.5% to 4% by a year from now, Brendan, to lower than 4% by the end of this year. And then a year out in the future, you're seeing the bulk of these projections sit around 3%, which is pretty crazy given that they just hiked up to above 5% yesterday. And so another one of these meetings where they act in one direction but speak in the other, and it really feels like this was the last hike here, and that we might see interest rates as low as 3% in a year from now.
It's amazing to think. I mean, we get as you said, they kind of do one thing, but obviously talk in the opposite direction. It was very hawkish, the actual comments in the press conference that came from Fed Chair Powell, in the sense that they didn't come out and actually say, okay, we're done. Let's see what happens now after we've done this last one. But as you said, gave every indication that, they'll act in accordance to the data now going forward. So what does that mean as far as banks are concerned? Obviously, we've had multiple, 3, now 4, potentially here, as PACW trades around day lows. 3 or 4 regional banks that are significantly in trouble. Some have already collapsed. What does this mean going forward to these banks that are struggling?
Well, yeah, and great point there that Powell and Fed chair people in the past have always been good at having the balanced talk where he doesn't want to take anything off the table. We're still monitoring inflation. We're not tipping our hand necessarily to seeing the bank crisis as being extremely fearful that we need to start cutting rates right now. But the market not necessarily buying those words as you see those interest rate markets getting pummeled. And it's along with this bank crisis story. And if we can bring up some of the numbers that I put together here since the start of this bank crisis, you can see a lot of stuff that you would have expected, right? The Russell's down 10% since the start of this crisis. Interest rates are down. Maybe you didn't expect the fact that interest rate projections, and I'm looking at the 2-year, which is a benchmark for short-term interest rates, where the Fed essentially would have short-term rates in the next year or two, down 130 basis points since the start of this crisis. That's a 1.25% there, a huge move in interest rates in the last 2 months here. Crude oil also down 12%. Then, of course, those regional bank stocks are down more and more by the minute. But some of the other things that you might not expect is that NASDAQ piece up almost 10% since the start of this crisis. In a 2-month span, Brendan, you're seeing small and mid-cap stocks in the Russell diverging from big market cap stocks and technology stocks, specifically in the NASDAQ, by 20%. As of right now, this is siloed into a financial stock story. It hasn't broken out to the rest of the market. And if anything, the fact that this crisis might lead the Fed to bring interest rates lower as soon as the end of the year could bring those technology stocks higher and higher. As you see the correlations here, very positive with financial stocks, very positive with the Russell, not so much with the bulk of big market cap stocks there. And what also has been an interesting story here is almost every leg lower that we're seeing in bank stocks, Brendan, bringing interest rates lower, but also bringing names you would expect like the yen and gold higher. But Bitcoin has become really a fear gauge of sorts for this bank crisis. And you'd expect that the worse and worse that this gets, the stronger these correlations get, with the only piece that I think might flip at some point might be that technology stock. And I put it back to you here. What do we need to see out of either the Russell stock index or the regional bank sector or the financial sector in terms of downside for that fear to bleed over into technology stocks? Because for the last 2 months, it's resulted in a 10% up move in technology stocks.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly hasn't happened yet. As we like to say, we trade what we see, not what we think is going to eventually happen. So it's almost like you have to wait for it to come before you get the opportunity to put on a sort of trade. But as you said, I think there's definitely more opportunity for downside first before we get any kind of correction to the upside. Speaking of, this is a great chart. I want to get to crude oil, because here we are. If you zoom out far enough on crude oil here, you can see the range start to develop that we've been trading in for so long. And this, as says on the chart there, goes back to the year 2000, Frank, that we're only just back to the middle. But it seems like everyone is in a bit of a panic here as far as what's happened even this week. I mean, crude is getting crushed.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting story in commodities. And I think a lot of people trying to correlate the downside that we're seeing in markets like crude oil or copper or what have you to pointing towards a possible recession here. But I think we're going to need to see crude oil prices lower than $60 to at least incite some fear within me. Because, you look at the data here going back to 2001, you have a pretty beautifully mean reverting market here. That's why I love to take a look at commodities, interest rates, and foreign exchange, because you pop out the chart for the last couple of decades. And of course, you see extremes. We love extremes as traders, but you see a lot of mean reversion in a market like this, ripping up to $100 a barrel a couple of times in the last decade, but always coming back to the average. And though it's been a wild couple of weeks here, Brendan, we're not even back to that average, sitting right now at about $67 a barrel, 68. It's been a quite volatile day here as that market was off more than a buck. Earlier today, bounced back to be green on the day. But like I say, would need to see some more downside to even get back to average for the last handful of years here. And I don't see commodities necessarily signaling a recession until you start seeing crude oil in the 40s or 50s, like where we saw it at the outset of the pandemic there, or like where we've seen it in the 08 crash there, closer to $40 a barrel. But right now, I think we're just seeing some, violent mean reversion here. And as long as we're north of $50, $60 a barrel, nothing too crazy in that commodity world. But the forward curve, we don't have to bring it up if we're running out of time, because I know you wanted to slip in the non-farm payrolls. But the forward curve here also projecting that this might not be the stop for crude oil, looking out to futures for the next year or so. They're thinking that crude oil will probably stabilize around that $65, $64 a barrel level that, hey, it's been historically average. So volatile market there for crude. But Brendan, nothing that's necessarily making me write home quite yet.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of understand, and if you take a step back to see just how big that move was and how correlated it was to what was happening with Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
And there's really no resolution, obviously, to that. But here we are right back to the middle of the range as far as oil is concerned. You mentioned it there. I want to talk a little bit about NFP coming tomorrow. We discussed it on Tuesday when last we spoke. But, right after the Fed, here we go. We get an indication of where they're at in this fight once again. And then, CPI and PPI coming next week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here to see how relevant these numbers are at a time like this, Brendan, because of course you would expect a high non-farm number or a high inflation number to come in, kind of save the day for interest rates, maybe bounce them back a little bit higher here, and maybe even bring stocks a little bit higher as a vote of confidence. But I almost think that we're going to need the non-farm payroll number expected at 180K. I think we're almost going to need 180 or 200 for the stock market to stop dropping. Because if we get the reverse of that, if we get 150 or 100,000 jobs tomorrow, and then a lower than expected inflation number next week, then you might really see those people calling for recession come out in bigger numbers. Because economic data in the U.S., though we saw that job number, I think it was last week, a little bit stronger than expected, hasn't been strong enough to pick stocks up off of their decline here, off of this bank crisis. But it'll be interesting nonetheless, Brendan, to see if we get a number outside of what's expected, if markets even take to it at all, because this bank crisis and the debt ceiling talks seem to be running the market as we speak here.
Yeah, the driving force continues to be this negotiation that, Jenny Yellen comes out earlier in the week saying they have a month left, so maybe that's a little more urgent at this point than everyone is giving it credit for. Frank Cabrera, great information as always, senior content strategist over at IG US. Thanks so much once again.
Thanks, Brendan.
So all I hear is that basically I should pay more attention to Frank and the correlations, because it's like here, when you see that, we've been talking about the regional banks for a while now, right? And I've been sort of shorting in some of those moves, and the correlation over there, like since that started out, the strength overall in Bitcoin. While I've also been sometimes fighting shorts in something like a Coinbase, which don't get me wrong, like I've actually made money on them, but I haven't been willing to play the long side of it. Yeah, and you've been finding support out there. Anyways, just wanted to quickly show. Look at the nice little cute double bottom on the 15 on BTC. And that's like 28.7, which you've got a nice quick little double bottom. And it's important to maybe note that it is Bitcoin overall there. Like he's not saying it's a crypto thing, so definitely a security aspect. And I love when we're able to get that look, because sometimes it lets us take a step back and maybe look at things from a wider time frame or a higher level that maybe as a day trader you're not always thinking about. And it's not to say that I'm not going to be shorting Coinbase. I probably still will, but at the end of the day, you want to have that look as well. So if I see some extra weakness come into the banking sector, maybe I want to be backing off a little bit. And when those things bounce, then it can be the time to jump in. So while that was happening, all I did is rinse and repeat Nvidia, nothing else. Only trade, it's just this 25 quarter level, giving it into the 50s, then back down into like 24.5 where it's now barcoding. The market's catching a little teensy bit of a bid. That's what I was going to show first. So we had the rejection. It's not a huge move because that's not what we get day after the Fed. Typically it's a little more inside. We've already bounced 13,000 early, and we're putting in a bit of a higher low right now. So this is a 60-minute chart. Just for reference there. So you did have that big reversal. Now we're catching a tiny little bit as we go into power hour.
Yeah, so again, thanks, Frank. Some of that stuff there to see Bitcoin up 23%, banks down 41%, gold up 12% or something, it really makes you think, about diversification and exactly what happens the next time you see something like this. How can you be better prepared? It's easy to show numbers now, but it's like if if these banks continue to fail, that's a bull run for Bitcoin, and I think that makes sense, right? So it might make sense to me, may not make sense to you, but I don't mind that, and it makes sense with gold as well, and blah, 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 as people cut less and less trust what system has been built here in the Western world. We missed, Oh, Shopify's doing that again. Okay, so I just want to talk about this trade right here. It came down to 161. Normally I'm sitting there, like this is pretty clear that at 130 we made that bottom of 161 in exhaustion candle and also with volume. So that should have been, we should have taken it out there, but I thought we were going to break, man. I mean, when this NASDAQ was coming in there, I thought we were just going to break these levels. Unfortunately, we did hold. I was looking for at least a 13.030, and you guys know that I was looking for a break of the low of the day. I'm still bearish here, obviously, as I hold both these shorts, Microsoft and Tesla, but it's we're still into 25% of Tesla, actually a third of Tesla still. So this could hurt a little bit as it goes back up. No matter what, it's a winning trade. I don't want this to go all the way back up. And unfortunately, we might have missed that point right there. And could have taken more out at 30. That's kind of where I'm sitting now. Hopefully this can come back in as we go. But Kenvue's working. That's even got higher back through 26. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be all New York.
Oh, it's everything. Okay, yeah, so what Neil and I are talking about, I'm just going to go to J&J just to test it. No, it's not everything.
Okay, so
on
Wayfair and Shop.
So anything that's moving on New York right now in our system looks like this, and this generally means that you're in a halt state. So this is what happened earlier to us. And again, we have a quote provider. This is not, we have a major quote provider. I'm not going to tell you guys who it is, but, and unfortunately something's happening right there with that trade. So what's Coinbase doing quickly? We do have another guest, and I mean, we could spoil it for you right now because you saw him live before we just got here. Raheem's going to come through and talk a little bit about Kentucky Derby. So if there is anything, that you guys are interested in that, we're going to talk a little bit about that coming through. But there's Coinbase again. I just wanted to have another look at this name because of what crypto's been doing. And again, up that 1.8%. Coinbase, I'm not interested until 50. And not only can you see why, but it's just $50 is such a magnet level there that I feel like options and everything like that. Once we get up to a 50 level, that's where I want to be interested. And this is the definition of in the middle right now. The bottom's 49. We're looking at 50 and you're at 33. So I know that's not exactly the middle, but you're not doing too much. So we'll wait to either a break there of 49, I don't mind, or if we can short it up near 50. So that's another trade idea that I have right now working with Coinbase. And then we do have a bid at 61.11 right here. Actually, I'm not even taking that. I'm going to wait down here. I want this print because I could have already had it. So I'm going to be a little greedy here and try to get Tesla down by 161. But this time, I have a resting bid.
So all I've done, I just got to reload an Nvidia. I think this could be the last one, just given the way the market's reacting, shorting it off that VWAP. It feels a little bit strong here. I was going to look over at a Shopify long, but as long as that's, that little graying out issue that I was talking about, if that's happening, I'm not trading the stock. But AMD here is bouncing off 87. Now, I like 86 maybe a little bit better, but you're holding essentially that first supply zone on the news and trying to bounce here with the market, sort of get in first, talk later, Neil. So yeah, just going to get in this consolidation. I still probably prefer 86 and might take a couple of swings in here on AMD. When in doubt, if you zoom out of here, on AMD, like when it got to these prices the first time, this was a decent supply zone. So Nvidia just came out, so we went 2 for 3 shorting that name. Now looking at an AMD long, which of course, it's kind of going sideways. Apple might be interesting, kind of bouncing.
Here comes 13.1 again. That's
we're coming back to 13.1, but bouncing back above VWAP. Apple starting to get going into earnings at hell 165. This makes some sense. If we trend back up and go green, I mean, if we trend back and go up and go green, 67 is the level on Apple. That sets us up for longs back into 165 half or so. So I'm going to get on the bid here. I can probably get on the bid and not have to, chase this one too far, just given that 166 could turn into like psychological resistance or maybe a 166 break for a bit. So, I kind of like this. If the market goes to the high, Apple's been sort of relatively strong. Like first we were shorting that level and then it turned into support. Now it's support again heading into the afternoon. Close.
Yeah, I'm going to take one more shot here. Tesla just came up to 92. I'm sitting at 92. I literally can't make that up, that wick. And I'm just sitting there because this I thought was 94, 95. So I sat at 92. That's where it went to and we didn't get filled. So we're still sitting there. It's pennies away, but I'm going to wait for it. You know what? I'm not. I'm going to take a 77. There you go. So I'm still waiting for 92. I just put a piece on right there at 77. So there it is. Nice little move. Just flushed a little bit, 20 cents there. We'll see if Tesla wants to pull back just a little bit more right now. There it is. Yes, sir. He found it. Thank you so much for that one. I'm going to get that on my desk here in a minute.
There it is. I see.
And that's pretty cool. So thanks for that coming through there, Fahad, for finding that for us. You know what else reports tonight? DraftKings. So Donkey Kong. You know, this stock has been a great one. We talked about that bid at 11 and it held. And I feel like you want to get out of DraftKings right now if you're still in this. I don't know what the number is going to come out with tonight. But when you've just made these tops again, you're pretty much, and this is why I'm nervous about Apple tonight, right? I'm going to zoom this in. Like when you've taken out tops here heading into earnings, especially when you've just come from 17 up to 22.50, back down to 20, then back up again and now fading it out. If you don't beat or they don't put a number out that the street likes, you're at least coming down here to 17 again to test if there's any buy support. So for me, this is a tricky name. And if you are in this, like if you're in it today and you're taking a shot or you're playing it with options or whatever, fine, that's great. But you know, if you're a shareholder of this name and you know you need to use some of your capital or you're nervous running into earnings, this name I feel like is priced basically into perfection. I mean, you're back to last summer's levels right now. So if you fail off that, then I believe you go to the downside here pretty hard, down to 17, 18 bucks. We've seen some names miss lately, and it's been disastrous. We saw Paramount today. There's been a few other names that have come through. It's slipping my mind right now because all I can think about is Key Corp and Pac West and Wall and things like that. But
yeah, those are the ones.
You know, if you're a high-flying name, and we saw Lemonade beat and things like that, but if you're one of these names that still is not profitable, and we had a raising, I mean, rates are more expensive today than they were yesterday. So DraftKings, I feel like, is in trouble. So you guys want to talk about Apple and Square, but I just want to talk about DraftKings pulling back 3% today. Does somebody know something, or are they all doing what I'm saying, taking some skin out here before they push that number through? So be very, very careful with that. We have a nice reload, and I'm going to give it back to Neil in a second. I'm going to get, I mean, now maybe if we come back to VWAP, great, but there's a reload, and you're going to go, let's go on that one because, yeah, man, we're bearish on Tesla. And there it is right there. Had more hair in that picture than I have today, but there it is. 161.40 coming through. I'm taking a VWAP print. If we can get something just south of 50, we'll take it. So we'll put our order in there. Hopefully we get a flush through 50, and we'll get a print somewhere down here in the 40s. But so far, so good on Tesla. Uh-oh.
I got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay,
Fahad,
good.
Fahad just hooked me up.
Yeah.
It's in the chat. He's in the chat.
I was going to say, I asked for it, you got it, but that's
no,
good.
but he put it in the chat.
Yep,
As
good,
you were
yeah,
talking, I
that's
took
sick.
the opportunity to kind of add it back in. I got another one that I got another idea
You
like
can't
here.
just cut and paste
I knew
that.
I forgot something. It's actually pretty easy to do.
But the
Stream
URL's
Deck's
not
pretty easy.
there.
No, but you actually have to go open your Stream Deck. And
Yeah, I
I'll
know
show
how
you
to
in
do
2
it.
seconds.
Yeah.
So, okay, Wayfair. I knew there was something I had forgotten about. That 38 level on Wayfair, we can pretty much forget about it. That was a top, that was a lower high. But then look at the 36 level. You know, goes from resistance, breaks, was support. If this breaks down from here, I like it. Up 15%, most of it short interest after the report, but then rejects above that clear 38 top, and now kind of possibly turning here at that 36. So if it breaks 36 and starts holding below, I'm going to look to work the shorts. I got the VWAP long on Apple. You know, it's relatively going to be a tight stop. It's a similar thing on AMD and it's support, but I like this Wayfair for a turnaround trade. Coinbase isn't in the pocket where I can short it, but Wayfair certainly is. Hopefully they got just what I need to the downside, and I want this to break down. It's been trending down pretty decently anyways.
Okay, yeah, I'm just getting this loaded up as well right now. Hopefully that's all good, and we'll be able to hit that.
Yeah,
Let me see if this works for me.
Yes.
Yes, there it is. Oh, that's red. Oh, no.
You have, Which
Why
one
did that
I
go
do?
red? This one's...
I only...
Hit the one you hit.
I hit this one.
Okay, I'm going to look at it again.
How did we do the same one and what? That doesn't make any sense.
I'll figure it out. I did. I changed it to 1519. I thought was the right one.
812, I think you put. Oh, we're rolling. AMD
okay.
just rolled over.
I sent the 1519. That's hilarious. 8 and 12 is right. Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
see that. The numbers are 8 and 12.
I
missed
get
that.
it.
Right there. Okay, so
No, I
right now
can
we'll
have
spin
money.
this, though, because either way, it's a money trade. There's our fill on Tesla.
money.
We just put 40 cents back in our pocket right there on a reload for Tesla. So boom to the downside. We take that, and there it is, man. We're doing this over and over and over again. So it's so far so good here as Tesla pulling back down. I am now no longer on 161. I want to see a break. I'm going to get jiggy with with this. Let's see if we break down through 161. The sharpest dressed man in Toronto is ready to rock and roll. It's Brendan at the big desk again with our guest.
Raheem is taking off on a business trip, so we thought we'd hold him hostage here this afternoon for a little while and talk. He is. And it's not going to be to Kentucky.
No, it is
which
not.
is sad.
Would have been fun.
Kentucky Derby coming up this weekend. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to talk about some Canadian earnings first, because in mining land, if anyone had not taken a look at gold lately, we're right back to highs on the year. That's actually not it, guys. You can leave it. But a lot of the mining names in Canada, which makes up a lot of the economy here, A, and B, a lot of the market, have reported this week.
Yeah, so May 1st was obviously reporting day for year-end financials. Most companies have that December 31st year-end. It was actually funny. I was talking to one of our CFO clients and just suggested maybe let's just move the year-end, because you don't want to get into this whole mess of May 1st.
Yeah.
But yeah, most companies did report. So if you are interested in learning about any of your companies in particular, take a look at that. A big indicator, especially in the junior world, is you'll want to look at cash on hand, because that will give you an indication as to whether the company will need to raise money, do they have funds to carry on their work programs, and what they want to do in general.
Was there anything that jumped off the page at you? Was there anything that surprised?
Yeah, no, not particularly a surprise, but I would definitely say is the sentiment around the fact that we've gotten past the precipice of the world is falling apart in the world of mining. Hopefully we're past that now. But secondly, now, when we've been talking about this theme over the last couple of years here, is during COVID, a lot of companies didn't backfill. So typically what you do as a large mining company, you sort of mine your cream of your crop, you generate revenue off of that, and you spend the money on your junior, your secondary, your tertiary assets. And during COVID, a lot of that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And so now these companies are continuing to mine up at the top, generating revenue, but now looking where they're going to be in 2 and 3 and 4 years, they're going to be maybe shy of reserve and resource. So the talk is, again, with gold being where it's at, like you just said, highs we're hitting here. Copper's done extremely well. Tin's done well. Lithium, everyone talks about that every day of the week. So what you might start to see is M&A activity. So I spoke to a company the other day. He's got 16 NDAs out with senior mining companies that have inquired about, having at least a discussion. And so I think you'll start to see that trail pick up a lot more. I don't think we'll see the heavy premiums that were paid, 14, 15 years ago when gold was peaking. There have been a few M&A deals that have been done closer to the delta of 10, 15, 20% versus 100%. But I think you will start to see a pickup in M&A activity, as particularly with companies that have been able to raise a good amount of cash. And as their stock prices have performed well, I think the junior guys will start looking at exits that way.
On that note, specifically, I guess this will affect the juniors more so, but how much of this move in interest rates has affected? I mean, obviously these companies need financing to get these projects off the ground and get the metals out of the ground. How much of this move in interest rates has negatively affected that?
I think it's more of a market situation versus a rate decision, because the senior companies, obviously, they've got debt instruments and interest rates do affect them. But the juniors, it doesn't really affect them. They're all tied to equity. Everything's equity.
Right.
They're not generally raising a lot of debt capital, excuse me. So it doesn't necessarily affect the juniors. The seniors, again, it might a little bit in terms of their interest payments. But where it does lead into is if you've got something that can pay you 7, 8, 9% on a, whatever instrument you want to use.
Yeah.
If something will pay you that kind of a return, do you want to do that, or do you want to put your money into a junior mining company who will get you potentially a 2, 3, 4 bagger, or you could lose it all? It just depends on which way you're going or what you're looking at. So it is just that risk allocation of capital.
Yeah.
And whether you believe that gold will continue, do you put your money into the seniors who typically follow the price of gold, or are you looking more so at the juniors where you're hoping that you get that M&A trade?
It's interesting to see this separation once again, as far as the correlation was concerned anyways, between metals and the overall market. All right, huge weekend coming up Saturday, Kentucky Derby, if anyone wasn't aware. Talk to us about who we should like as far as this race is concerned.
And Sean's also got Leafs Game 3 tickets in Florida. I heard he's going down. So who should you like? It's always easy to, the favorites are always easy. Pro tips are always look at who the trainers are. Bob Baffert, who's been a figurehead, if you've ever watched horse racing, he's the guy with the gray hair and the sunglasses. He had an issue 2 years back, so he's not going to be allowed at Kentucky Derby. Any of the favorites that were Baffert-led horses have all been moved out into other stables. So Baffert's not there. If you're looking for a name, he's not going to be on any of your scorecards there. Follow the jockeys. You know, if you're going to pick a big name jockey like a Pletcher, like a Flavian Pratt or an Erad Ortiz, you know, they're on some good horses this weekend. And Japan. Japan has done exceptionally well this year. They've had big winners in the Middle East. They've had big winners in the races running up to Derby. So the Japanese horses, you know, maybe this is the year for Japan. That's some talk around there. One of the big favorites that was going in to the race, Practical Mischief, has a bit of a fever, so he won't be running because they were just considering keeping him out of the Preakness anyway. And so I think they're going to just save him for maybe one of the latter races. So he was out. I think he was an 8-1 favorite. Forte is the #1 favorite going into this. So you know, that's you know, an easier pick to make. But yeah, take a look at a couple of those names out there.
Saturday afternoon?
Saturday afternoon, about 5:30ish. Got my old Kentucky home. You got to sing. You got to raise your glass. Get dressed up if you're at home.
And wear
It's a
crazy
fun thing to
hats
do.
and
or get to the race.
What's your drink of choice?
Got to go mint julep. I mean, what else would you do?
Come on.
Mint julep and a fine cigar, and it's a lovely afternoon.
It's a lovely afternoon.
Unless you have 12 of them, then you know.
Well, that's
Even better.
That's up for debate. Rahim Alani's managing director over at OCI Groups here in Toronto. We'll let you get back to work.
Thank you.
If that's a thing this afternoon, guys.
I like that
Back
he
to
got
work, huh?
Yeah, Rahim also got the memo of the blue today. So
Of course he does.
We all got it. It's
course he
Maple Leaf blue. Actually, my Maple Leaf bobblehead's over there as we get ready for Game 2
I don't even see it over
tonight. So, you know, my stubborn self again, Tesla comes all the way down to 161, and we're right here right now. We could completely change our tune right now and get out, but here it is, just coming in one more time for Tesla. So we shorted, we got out, we got out at VWAP again, and we're bouncing around 161. I put my bid down here, 160.70. I'll respect that bottom for now, but I still think we move lower, man. The NASDAQ is trying to push right here, and we're trying to hold it. So we're doing that. It was only 20, well, it's 3:20 right now, only 30 minutes until the imbalances come out. But I just feel like if we get a 161 flush, because we bounced there, and there, it's been the bottom all afternoon. So it does feel silly, at least not getting a piece out. But I want to hold. I want to hold to see if we do go all the way back down. We've been getting pieces out, and it's like, you know, you look smart when you get it out and it bounces, and then you feel a little off, you know, when that doesn't happen too. So thanks, Rahim. Take care, man, and we'll see you soon, and travel well. That is for sure. Yeah, no problem. We love having Rahim on. I mean, he's been a friend of ours for years and years and years.
I'm trying to think how long, but it's
probably
been
15 or 20 years he's been
been
dealing
a
with
long-
Day
yeah, it's
Trade
been
the
a
World
long
and everything like that. So I want to give a big shout out to Rahim Alani and his crew over there at OCI, and thanks for coming through and giving us that extra content, because even though we talked obviously about the Derby, you know, miners, junior, there's a lot of people in here that are looking at mining companies, and it's great to hear his insight. That's his expertise. So a big shout out to Rahim and company.
I need meta short.
Oh, here we go.
A lot of people have been talking about. Oh, you have them.
No, I know. I'm not hitting that.
No, I have it too.
Me too. When we're ready to go red, or when we're ready to go green, I'm going to do that.
I have. What the heck?
Would you just do
I thought
that?
I just hit it.
Neil just put the wrong.
Okay, I don't know what that.
Neil just put. Was that you guys that put on that that promo?
I don't
Neil
know.
just clicked Neil. Someone just got free advertising.
Let me
right
re-add.
there.
Let me just go
Dock
back and
Neil's
fix that
pay,
one.
whatever that should cost.
What I meant to get at is I was shorting Meta. Let's just stick back to the stocks here. So here's what just happened on
Neil,
Meta.
what numbers are you putting in stream?
I
back
heard
here?
you say the numbers, and I put the numbers you said out loud. That's
No,
all
no,
I
the
did.
numbers I put out loud were the red one.
I don't know. I heard you say two numbers, and that's what I put in stream. I'll do it in a second. We're making trades.
Yeah. We're
So
trading.
Meta, if we come to my chart for a second, I tried to clear this wick and my chart crashed. But anyways, 234.5 just broke down. So support just broke on Meta. It's consolidating under that. Now I can zoom in and you can see. So it broke that support level and is consolidating lower. So now I'm net short. And then I can go over, I'll figure the Streamlab thing out. I'm just going to delete that one and put two different numbers in there. And when he tells me which ones to put in, so that's all I'm going to do. I'll just
8 and
delete
12,
the whole
man.
thing.
It's right there. It's right in the chat.
Green is 812.
Yes. The other one.
The
would
other
be
one
red.
is it's red. Is what I want. So what is that? You guys tell me what that is, and I'll put those.
It's
in.
right there.
So I'm now
It's-
short Meta. I'm looking at my
Yeah,
charts.
yeah, okay.
And I have Coinbase here at VWAP as well and Wayfair. So I got 3. Meta is the weakest. I feel like if it's a sword to die in short, Meta actually looks better. And thank you guys in the chat for pointing that one out. So shout out to everybody in the chat. They're like, Meta's breaking down. I'm like, oh yeah, Meta. That stock that had the bad news yesterday, or theoretically bad news, and it's sort of trying to break the bottoms here. 15.9 it is. So I'll add that one back in so that I can actually get it correct. 15.9.
Yeah, connections. Okay.
Or 19, sorry.
Yeah. You almost got it wrong again there. So,
There we
so
go.
it's Stream Deck. We love Stream Deck, and we're just
It's a
trying to
great
get it.
tool.
It
Just
is,
gotta make sure
and
you
it's
get it
fun to
right.
use. And now that we know how
gotta
to
get it
use
right.
it, hopefully we will be able to use it properly right there. So, okay. Shoot, like Tesla bounced again. So now, unfortunately, with this much time left, I still have more shares. I mean, we don't have to. I was just hoping that this would fall down. So I'm going to put a bid now in the mid-teens, see if we can get that. We've just bounced off of it just too many times right now. So honestly, we tried it, and I'm just going to, there we go. I'll take that out right there. Hopefully I can cancel that bid. There we go. We take a 26 there. So that's it. Not that's it, but we're out now. It's just too many times it bounced off here. I have to stay true to who I am, and honestly, like, I wouldn't. This is a level that we were targeting in the first place. So, we got a little greedy thinking it was going to break. And again, sometimes you watch stock as well as the market. I always do. And so if the NASDAQ is also bouncing off these levels, then let's just get out of Tesla. Let's go over and look at Microsoft. We're not out of Tesla. Let's take a piece out. And again, the same thing's happening for Microsoft. We actually did get that bottom tick already once. So we're being greedy again. We're trying to get this to go down to the downside. We reloaded Tesla. This would have been the reload right there. Look at that exhaustion wick again, back up right there to the upside right now. So there it is, right there downside, 306, 305.80. We're going to wait to see where that goes now, downside. So Kenvue is the other trade that we have on board right now. Kenvue continues to work and is right back to the highs again. So we're long at 25.650. There it is, 26.60, trying to make these tops right now. So let's just wait to see 26.56, 26.60 right there for Kenvue. This could be a good target as well to get out. I'm going to hold just to see if it goes the rest of the day. Again, this looks like the reverse of Tesla, where you're sort of topping out right now. So let's hit the green one then for Kenvue. Maybe that'll turn that around as well. So right now, nice upside move. Because there is a 50 period here, I think we could get out of this if we break 20. So that exhaustion's 18. Let's put we only have, like I said, we have 4% left of this trade. It's not, I just want to make sure that we trade it properly. That's all. So that bottom wick is 26.20. That's well worth it for me. Let's give up 20 cents to the downside and hope that we break a 20-cent high. So that makes sense to me. We're going to do that right now. 26.18 is my out here on Kenvue.
Kenvue.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually have not been looking at it since I got out of the trade. And we always like to see how we close on an IPO day so that you can inform yourself like the next day. Because sometimes, like really with an IPO, a lot of times we like day one. Obviously, everyone wants to take the day one trade, but the day two, maybe day three, and then things can maybe settle down. And you're not even looking at it till they have earnings, the lockup, something along those lines. So, like I said on Wayfair, $38 was kind of like that big level on the daily. It can zoom out enough on the 15 so you can see it there, and then it put in a lower high, worked into the trend down. To me, that's a top break. Like if I was looking at a parabolic mover and saw it double top, I'd be thinking shorts after the lower high and then taking the consolidation after it. So when it's a bit of a squeeze type play, like obviously, the squeeze is part of it there. It looks like a trend up, but I'm playing it off the higher time frame, double top short. There's not enough time in the day for anything but a tight stop. I just looked over, and it's like it's 3:28 already.
What?
So,
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Wow, okay.
So
Wow.
the notion of, I'm short in here, and I'm going to work it back up to there's not enough time even for that to work back into like 33 even. Suddenly, a more reasonable target is 35, which means tight stop based on time of day. Now, that's just how it is when you're a day trader. If you put the same trade on in the morning, you might be able to give it more room, all that good stuff, and average in or have a wider stop. Can't do any of that. And that's going to be the same thing with Meta. Like, yes, Meta looks like it's breaking support, and I would probably even want to just give this back to like 35 even. Can't do it. 330, we're going to get the early look on the imbalances, so I have a pretty tight stop on this. I'll zoom in so you don't, there you go. I'm going to have to, well, I don't have to, but I'm going to stop this out before it gets to 35. 34.75 makes sense. Similar thing with Coinbase, right? Like, I'd love to give this a ton of room here, but you just can't do it. I can't give it to like 49.5. Normally, that's the kind of thing I'd be looking for on a breakdown here. I'm in at 49 even. I wanted that price. I started chasing it. I'm like, okay, well, now I can't add till I get my price at 49. And really, it's about to stop out at about that quarter mark anyway. So this coin's going to come first. And then if they bounce to the upside, I guess we're just inside all afternoon. I guess we should have anticipated we could have an inside afternoon, but it's a little disappointing. What ends up happening is you get fed, you get some movement on stocks in the morning, those bank shares were moving all over the place, and I thought we were going to have a bigger kind of movement style day, and that's just not going to be the case. So Coinbase comes out first. That one just stopped out at the quarter. I'm not giving it to that 50 level. So you raised 25 cents on there. Very tight stop, I want to say. But this is just it. There's not a heck of a lot moving. I said I would trade Pac W. Is that really halted? Damn it. So
Again?
I know, I'm like,
It's not at a crazy price, though.
No, it's not. Why is it this?
Oh, wait a second. 370 down 30 cents. That should halt, right?
This is a 3-minute chart.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe it
So
should
it
not have
took,
halted.
really, that's all, okay. Maybe, it doesn't make sense that it's halted, but anyways, volatility halt there. This is what I didn't short. I didn't short Pac W, and that's rolling back over. I'm going to assume Wall, Western Alliance here. If I pull that one up, no, that's pretty stable. Pac W into a down halt. Western
News,
Alliance
maybe?
barcoding. Oh, that's so tempting. What's this high? 1960. It's 50 cents worth of risk. Checks notes. Let me try to get. It's short sell restricted. You can't hit the bid, so I'm probably not even gonna get a fill anyways. Now that I've thought this one through and it's already started to go down, I have to get picked up on the offer. SSR means you need an uptick to get filled short. Like, you can't hit the bid, remove liquidity from the bid unless there is an uptick. And every single green is like a dark pool print now that I'm looking at it. So I can't even get into WAL now that I've noticed what's happening over there in Pacific West. Yeah, I'm not going to get this short.
Pac West. Finally, man, we're going to go. That was a good idea. We talked ourselves into getting out of some Tesla. And look, man, I mean, how frustrated would we be if we didn't? Right now, it's right back.
No.
Like, I would have just been like, what am I even doing? So we sacrificed about 10 cents because, you know, the best we could have got was 161.10 or so. We got out at 25, 26 there. So not a bad out for that. Sacrifice about 12 cents so I can sleep at night. Let's now see if this can come back in and give us that fill down lower where we want it. Microsoft is starting to go back to the upside. This is a little bit different one to reload because the NASDAQ and how strong Microsoft has been lately. I mean, we know that Tesla's been strong. I mean, it's had its movements there today. It's up 0.62 as well today. But Microsoft into the ES, you're now above the 50 period and now starting to go back up. So we're going to have to watch out for 13.1 again. And I'm not going to reshort. We're almost out of everything. Like, this was, we only have 10% left of this. Our Tesla trade, we now have 20% left of our Tesla trade. But remember, it's only going to show a short 77, which is that fill. You know, we started this all the way up here. So the fact that we started this short, and we gave this all to you, we were trading live at this time with you guys, where we gave you 162.16 and then 20s. And I did give it to you, but this is what I took. And then it made the move downside. So that's $1 basically from that. But either way, we're now going to try to short again at the same price. If we get, actually, no, I'm trying to short 90s up here. So if we can get that short, fine, against that high. Remember, at the end of the day, this could run like unlimited amounts here, upside into the close. So let's just be careful with that. We talked about oil. If you want to see an oil chart, oil actually just made an interesting move over the last couple of days. We're actually talking about this with Raheem. So here's the continuous contract for, this is light crude. Yeah, so it's what everyone's looking at. Look at this. So here's oil. I sold some tech names. I don't know if I want to buy more of XLE right now, but you can see we came right into here to 64.35. So if you go all the way back to December of 2021, like you're going back now, that was that dip buy opportunity there. And then also back in the fall of that year, you dipped down to 62. So this little wick down there to 64 could be temporary, right? So let's wait to see, because we've also came down to 64 before. So oil, I don't know if we found a bottom or not, but it's looking like potentially that could be something there for oil. So just to give everyone an idea of where it is, it did have that bounce off $64. So maybe if we can get down to there again, and we talked about this with Arun, looking at different opportunities, and one of them is crude oil right now. So that's a good level, $64, needless to say. It's a $4 bump back to 68, where we're settling right now. Here's crude on the 1 minute chart, just settling down. We did have this move into the close, and that's the electronic close right there. Sorry, the floor close at 230, and now we just trade electronically. So big move up to 70. Actually, wow, it touched $70 today, all the way back. So huge move, 67 up to 70, and now settling back in at 68.50. So that's crude oil today. I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to that bottom there of $64.
So PACW opens back up. It just bounced off of 320. It's heading back in. That was the only way to get into WAL, so I eventually got it. I didn't get the rollover. Like, that's when it was halting. When I noticed PACW was halted, this is where I don't think you really could have gotten any shorts above 19. Maybe if you chased it more aggressively, which I did not. But on the way back up, I got 1887. Meta came out. That just stopped. I'm going to tempt fate. My Meta chart looking good. I think it is. Yeah, so that just broke the consolidation bottom there on Meta. I said I was going to have relatively tight stops on them. Somehow Wayfair has not stopped out either. Even though the market's bouncing, I think it probably will. But Wall, this might be a little bit more interesting. If we get another rollover, I'm just going to show you what I'm looking at here. So I'm watching both these at the same time, right? So as PACW sort of comes back in, it halted to the downside, started a bit of a downtrend, probably about 130 or so, lower highs all the way. If this can't creep back above VWAP, I'd almost be looking to add on the WAL short, just sort of looking at how things started out the day. Like, the day started with this rolling over, and I couldn't get in position, and just saying, oh, well, if this is going down, let me just go into Western Alliance because it's telling me what's happening. So if we do get a rejection of VWAP here, I'd look to go short, add the short in WAL. We have a lot of earnings after market. I know Coin's going to be one of them. I got out of Coin. It's not really running. Obviously,
Coinbase is aftermarket? Did I miss that one?
Hold on a second.
You're probably right.
Let me double check. I'm going to double check. I'm pretty sure, but I can be wrong. I'm going to go Coinbase.
I already have it.
Oh, you have it already?
I didn't want to step on your toes.
Oh, no, actually, yeah. I can just look at trade ideas.
Right. You're right. It's post-market.
It is? Okay, so it is. Okay. I was pretty sure, but
I saw you
better
Googling
to be sure.
it, and I was going to tell you. I didn't want to interrupt
why don't I
you.
just go up here? And
Yeah.
I have my trade ideas open. I can just look at it in 2 seconds. Apple just bounced $1. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, the whole market is really retracing off of some levels. So I decided something. I'm going to go short Microsoft again, but I'm going to wait for this exhaustion wick. So that's basically where we're getting out. I've upped it a little bit higher than that, but 307.25. I want to see a break of 307, then I want to get one of those miracle fills up here. So I'm actually waiting at 307.06 to see if we get like a nice little bump through 306. Then we'll short there, and then we'll take about a 15-cent worth of risk to the upside. Neil and I, there we go, now we're short. It looks like it's really ripping now. So we'll have to watch out for this trade. You know where our Tesla interest is as well on the upside there. So we're going to watch out. Okay. See, this is why sometimes you wait for it. It comes back in a little bit here. We'll see if we can take a little bit. Our risk is only 10 cents on this trade, or so, 15 cents as we try. We got 06s, we're out 20 cents. We're going to get out if it breaks through 25 there. So I don't know. Let's see if this does pull back in. There it is. I took 10 cents there. I misspoke on that. Let me put another bid down here into the 80s where it would be 20 cents and then see if we can't get that. But there it is, quickly in and out. We're still in. We only got out of 10% there. So, 15%. Here it comes, nice little upside move in the market. And again, it's just extending higher. We've already been up here, so let's just see it break. That's what we're waiting for. That's how I trade. So there it is. We get that short. Let's see if it pulls back in and again. And we're scalping here today. So today I have over 300 fills again. My fees are just north of $20. So, like we get that fill, so we sit there at 06, and then when I get the fill on an ARCA or a NASDAQ or something, it actually, let's go. Booyaka! Right there. We could put on our Borat glasses maybe because we just seeing the market right now and we'll go, oh my God, with a bang as well because there it is right there, man. If that's not like a thief in the night, scalping that little 20 cents, and I don't know what it is, but there's a nice move to the downside. Let's see if Microsoft wants to keep on moving that down right now. So hopefully it does. We are now short at 06. It's only 20 cents. It's not like, oh my God, what a great trade. But it happened the way we wanted it to. And remember this morning we said how frustrated you are when a stock actually moves and maybe you missed the fill by a penny or two, but it does exactly what you want, but you actually don't get out. So that's why, yes, sir. There it is again, man. We'll spin the money. Now we can hold because now we've done the damage on this stock. We've taken out enough now that no matter what happens, we're playing with house money again. And I like to do that. And then maybe I'm going to bet on some Bob Baffert-led horses. I know that doesn't exist anymore. That guy was pumping his horses full of steroids, got caught on that, and now he's banned. So, but no surprise that the Japanese horses, as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, maybe they have, and I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal.
Aren't they?
No, I'm not. I'm saying they might have developed.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a very tricky thing because if you can get the right mix of hormones and all that stuff with some undercover drugs, hey, I like that. I like that angle. Thank you for that, Raheem. I'm going to be Googling Japanese horses in the Kentucky Derby as soon as we're done the show.
Again, anything that is racing, it's like if you're not cheating, you're trying. You're not trying. That's just how it's kind of always been. The betting is now closed. We're at 340 right now, so I kind of gave it a few minutes in there, just a couple extra minutes. We're still basically flat on the NASDAQ. So we're 0.17 to the downside. I did add to WAL. Again, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. So you had a little bit of a turn at VWAP there. So at that moment, that's me adding to the position. I'm scalping it inside the range just in case you never actually break down here. I'm going to get some, it's literally the end of the day anyways, right? So if we do break down, we'll just see how far it can go. I still somehow, we're like 10 cents away on, I keep wanting to say, why do I keep wanting to say Macy's? So anyways, on WAL, here's the other thing. I want to show you guys in WAL. I forgot to mention this. That halt up also was at this level. That 20, like when it was down at like $11 and reopened and got back to the upside, that was right at that 20 level as well, just under that to 19. So really, it's also short beneath that recovery price and the initial sort of halt level at that 20 even. Wayfair, I keep wanting to say Macy's. I don't know why.
Oh, that's the one you keep.
That's the one. So there's 36.5. I'm actually tighter than that because I'm not even going to give it that far. I've actually tightened my stop up because like the closer we get to the end of the day, I'm just going to do it. It is making a nice little bounce. It's got short interest. You could definitely see some more covering. I got the consolidation short. It does not want to work to the downside. It'll be wall for me into the close, and we'll see what happens. As far as Apple goes, it's a strong move. We're getting the run into the close here. Of course, I take that long out. Oh, give me a break. I went over to Wall. I could have just gone back to the Apple. I think Wall's going to be okay heading into the short side, but I went away from working the Apple long to work into Western Alliance short. We'll see. Apple obviously up back at 166. 167 is huge resistance. It's been tearing. It had been tearing up into 170 and trending and then kind of pulled back. So it's not that situation where it's like heading into earnings at the overextended mark, it's pulled back a couple of days and everyone's kind of expecting things to be bad, which could temper things. I haven't looked at the implied volatility. I don't want to make a guess. If I had to guess, I'd say 5%, but I can also just look it up. So I'm going to do that. If you can go to Sean for a second if you don't want to waste time looking at me. Watch up here. That's macro trends. I don't want to do that. Macro trends is great to look at, like historical price to earnings. I like to have that up sometime, but really, it's just options AI that we go to. I just type Apple in here because AMD was yesterday.
I'm going to say like 5%.
I was going to say 5 too, right? Like that makes sense.
I'm going to go lower.
Let's see.
Just want to see something different than you. That's all.
Yeah, 3.7%. So it feels right. You've already pulled back a few points off of 170 anyway. So yeah, I could see that. Oh yeah, Western Alliance coming to the downside now.
Oh my God, as my mother, my dad says that. Look at that move, holy crap. We got to spin that one more time, man. We just made 90 cents on Microsoft that we put the trade on 5 minutes ago. So there it is, man. We just got a 20, what do we get, a 26 fill there? Wow, I was just like, I'm going to bid right here. And then there's the flush. again on the market. Let's go, man. Wow. We are on one here again this afternoon. We talked about the sort of the afternoon that we had yesterday, vaulting us. And now today, man, Microsoft again, just helping us out right back into these levels again. Short. And I talked about this on the midday show with Sharif. I was like, how do you think you're making money shorting a name that's up 1% when the market was red? Well, this is how, man. Short these pops, get ready to rock and roll. We got that in perfect. Like, that's basically the top. And I told you what we were doing. Like, I was waiting for a 307 break to get a move to the upside, and we got greedy. I could have shorted 307, but we took 307.06 and then got some out here, again, putting it 1-to-1, holding on to half, getting that hallelujah print down there at 306.25, and then all the way down. We'll put another one here. Are we going to get that lucky to get a 305.90? Hey, you don't put the order out, you have no idea. So let's put that out right now, see if we get that. But on that note, we were a little unlucky with Tesla because we were waiting at 92. It went to 82 and stopped. But your boy's not done because look what else is happening right now. Let's go. I'm going to do this again.
Oh, my God.
Bye-bye, Kenvue. Kenvue right now, $27 and still going to the upside. We still have a piece on of this name. Not many shares. We've talked about that, but there goes Kenvue all the way to the upside. This is making me happy as a J&J shareholder as well. And guess what just happened again?
Money.
Wow.
Money.
This is what I'm talking about, man. We don't need spros. We don't need caffeine to get going. This is called real life. And there's a move downside for Microsoft. $1.24 in the money. We just put this on at 307 right there. This was 5 minutes ago, man. Well, not 5 minutes ago. These are all 1 minute candles. 10 minutes ago, we put I can just tell you right now, 1536. So yeah, 8 minutes ago, we put this trade on, and there it is, right down into VWAP. We did get that 80 fill. Now we're making lower lows right now. Let's keep this train rolling. We're on fire here. It's good trade so far on this one. And I know you're in WAL, so we've got the tech names, we've got the bank names, and we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to you got the big cap tech, but keep in mind, in 4 minutes, and Sean's going to cover it. He's got the winner on Microsoft. Imbalances come out. They can affect the market. They shouldn't affect something like a PACW or a wall. So I'm not really that interested in the imbalances myself, although, of course, we'll talk about it for you guys. But PACW is on big support at it's on a big level at $3. I don't want to call it support because it might just be busting it out right now. So if this is a litmus test, wait for this to do that. And this is a weird thing. If you play the sympathy play, it's hard to get this fill when it's SSR because that's rolling over, but this is bouncing up. So as this is already turning, you're still able to get PACW on the short side of it as we're able to do. And if 3 doesn't hold, I think we're going to see $16 or $17. Well, we're already at $17.50 on Western Alliance. So I've been watching these two back and forth. I knew it was going to be one of them. I thought it was going to be PACW to be the stock to trade today. It ended up being Wall. At this point, I'm probably thinking trail 18. If we don't bounce off 3 even, I'm thinking somewhere in the 16 level. Actually, I have a bid down here. I think this is going to work. Okay, good. I eventually got it right. I mean, I don't know. Now they want to know how did I even hit that other one. I don't even remember the number that I put down there. But the market is rolling red. We'll see what happens. But I'm looking for that 17 to maybe break down. And if I see a strong enough bounce, as a matter of fact, see this? We're bouncing off 3. I will not look gift horse in the mouth. I will cross out. That's it. That's it. I'm out of the trade. I'll hit the most ridiculously horrible graphic ever because that's the page I happen to be on. But that's enough for me to get out. It's going to look like, oh, how did you know it was going to turn? I didn't know jack. I just saw $3 hold on PACW and punched out. It's that simple. I'm just watching. It's like watching the futures to trade something else or watching SOXL make a move off a support level and you're trading AMD there. I just saw PACW bounce 3 and I punched out of my wall trade. We got 1890 down into 1750. I'll take that all day. It's 347. I might not be into anything else for the rest of the day unless something sets up off the imbalances there. It's been a good one, but we don't want to look any of these in the mouth.
Is that a new one? Don't ever hit that again.
That is, oh my goodness, that's so bad.
Well,
you know what? I saw my page. It said new gift horse, and I don't think I'd ever hit it before. So I'm like,
the
let
other
me
one
just.
You're looking at it.
No, the other one is come on, how is that? How is the other one the new one, and that's the old one?
We like. There it is. We just got out of Kenvue. Is this halting? Is that
halting down?
No, it
What?
didn't. It lined up at 67. I don't know. That should not have. No, there was nothing.
What happened?
No. I got out, but I got out on purpose. I mean, I was just going to say if we broke
offer
back,
stack is
yeah,
what you're
exactly. If we broke back down below 75, we wanted to get out. So we'll take that fill. But it looked like the offer was stacking there, and it did, and then it just took it out. So it wasn't a volatility halt, and I don't want to be in a halt anyways right now. It's 348.
not this time of
we
day.
may not open up, so that's fine. But we'll end our Kenvue trade right there. And if you're wondering why we hit the awesome key, because there's our out. So good out. It did go as high as 27, so we'll give back 25 cents on that. And there it goes. Now it's taking back the ask again. Took it out. Now you're starting to go back higher. So it kind of looked like this, but with more size. And there you go. They're taking everything out, so no worries on that one. Microsoft is $1.25 in the money, and we have the imbalances. Oh, I missed the note from Brendo. What was it? Okay, there it is. It's only 29 million to
say
sell.
it's not worth it, yeah.
So I'm glad we kind of missed that there because that was a nothing burger. But 305.50, I'm going to put a bid right there. And again, if Microsoft comes out a huge sell, I want to be part of that movement to the downside. So we've already just done really well on that. We tweeted this trade out as well. And now watch out for the pullback here in Softy. Not watch out. We're out. Like we only have a small. We're not out. We have a small piece. We have 20%. Actually, we have 30% left on this trade right now. So hopefully that can come out. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about with the imbalances, this is what I'm talking about. Now I've logged out and back in, so I will just have to adjust this and get rid of ARCA. We don't want to see that. That's NYSE American. All we want to see, that's so anything on trading on the formerly known as Amex, that would show up on those, but. There's really no hot Amex trades right now, and the problem is if you show them, there's a lot of names like ETFs on there that will just be like millions of shares. There it is, we're out right now. Intel with a sell. So let's see what that stock is doing. Wow, 31.30 still for Intel. That's pretty resilient today, up 2.25%. That's nice. Apple's a buy into the close. Okay.
Heyo.
We're gonna have to watch out for our Microsoft trade. Oh, that's actually going down. Where's Microsoft on here? I don't see it. I'll just call it up so I can watch it. Microsoft did make a move right back into VWAP.
Let's see. Let's watch Apple.
I am going to put a bid on Microsoft. I'm going to punch
Hold on.
out.
I thought you
I'm
said-
not even
okay,
putting a
never
bid. Apple was a buy.
It moved.
It was on there. There it is.
There
right
it
there.
is.
Yeah. So there's Apple. So because Apple's a buy, I am punching out right now of Microsoft. So I punched out of what we have left. Now we only have 15% left. You punched out a half of what we had right there because if Apple's going to be a buy into earnings, then I just don't. Now it's going to come down. I'm going to cancel. So I'm going to cancel all my Tesla trades and everything right now as well. Canceling my Kenvue, everything. We don't need to worry about that. No more stop orders, no nothing. We can manage this. Only 2 trades left here. Microsoft looking, I got scared on that imbalance. Not scared, but Microsoft, Apple was a bid. I just feel like the market was going to follow it.
Apple's turning down, by the way.
Yeah, and
The shorts are probably good.
Well, the market is.
Well, but Apple with a 1.5 billion buy and bounce going into earnings, actually rejecting the bounce would not necessarily be a good thing for the market. It got back beneath VWAP. Like, this is what happened. Like, it was pulling back, it bounced because of the imbalance. If it doesn't continue the move, we're obviously headed lower, I would think. Intel's the weird one because 1.3 million sell imbalance when it was so strong all day. Okay, never mind, it pulled back to VWAP. But it's still a strong day for Intel. I don't know what PRVA is. It did move a little bit. Sometimes these random ones are okay. I saw it moved like 15 cents, but quite frankly, it wasn't that big of a move in context. I think Apple's the one I want to be watching for obvious reasons into the close, not being in position. But if this doesn't hold VWAP, market should trend to the downside, I would think, with a sell imbalance overall, and Apple being one of the only things to the buy side. If Apple turns, we turn.
We're still short Microsoft at 307. It's starting to go right now and taking out these lows. I'm just going to stay in this as we get ready to close out the day, man. The Nvidia is... I'm going to do stink face at this one, but we literally punched out at the high of the day for this, so I'm not too pleased about that right there. Wow, it did come right back and then crashed again.
Hold on, you
so,
can't beat
the
worst out ever.
Boom.
I think I have the worst out of the day. No?
Well, if you can beat $5.
No, but hold on. Okay, maybe not in terms of like getting up, but you didn't hold the trade. But I literally made the top wick on the reopen of Wall. Like yeah. I could have covered at any other price after it reopened.
Yeah.
Definitely. But then I also have a pretty bad wick on, like I you almost could not have lost money on Kenvue today.
That's bad. Yeah.
Obviously, I did lose money on it today, so you could have lost money. But realistically speaking, like this is what happened, and like I'm down on it because this trade was bigger than trying to leg into this trade. Like I basically got a quarter of the shares here, and I was gonna work into 25 even, so I took 25% at 25.27 with the anticipation of getting more, but I had already taken this hit to here. So I end up not having enough shares. It's just like, what the heck? So it happens, it happens. Like you almost couldn't have lost money on this long today. Like a day trader on this, like you really shouldn't have lost money on this. I did. I think that's, the other one looks uglier on the chart, but this is actually technically worse for obvious reasons. But it's been one of those types of days. I'm not going to be mad because it's been a good one. Apple usually reports well after the bell. So, sometimes you'll see us stay on here and it's like, oh, we can show you earnings. That's not the case with Apple. Apple's, like, what is it, like 4:30 usually?
We're not doing that. Yeah, Apple's at least 4:30. Apple is 4:30. It's
always, always really late.
Always. Not really late. They're actually on time.
Okay, late in terms
later
of
in the day.
You know what I meant by that.
Yeah,
and a context logic. Someone said they report today. They do. Wish reports aftermarket.
Ooh.
Pay for them shorts tomorrow.
No, what? Oh, well, yeah. It's going to be up 20%. So
actually,
just
maybe
wait
it's free
on
locates.
Wish.
I don't know.
That's not a prediction. I'm just saying, like a lot of these.
It's already up 8% today.
Yeah. So I mean, we saw Shopify. So Microsoft just goes 306 and comes all the way back. I just put a bid here at 60 and then canceled it. Let's just see. We do have a turnaround. There it is. Yes, sir. All right. Tesla as well, man. I'm down here. If we can get this Tesla fill, we'll take $1. At the end of the day, we are $2 now and going down lower here into the close. Wow. What a... Wow. You know what? Sharif wanted this one. Sharif's not here right now, but I'm going to do this for him anyways because it's a hot dog kind of trade on this one, man. Microsoft, like we're $2 in the money now. And as this one just continues to make moves down into the low of the day, it's 355 right now. You can't fire a hot dog cannon off and not get out. So right there's the out right now. That's more like the right one right there. Look at this fill on Microsoft. Wow. We have the top of this move, literally. I don't know if we have the bottom, but we're just got out right now at the bottom. So, wow, what a day changer for me on both these last couple trades here. Well, we've given you 2 trades into the close. Well, we gave you Kenvue. I was live when that was happening, so hopefully you had that.
Oh, my goodness.
We have Tesla downside right there. Other than that, man, we only put on those 2 trades into the close.
Do you see that PRVA that it was just 1 million shares again? Remember I said it had barely moved? It's a $26 stock. It went $1.60.
That must be getting up-weighted, down-weighted.
There's obviously something going on with that PRVA stock. Let's go to Brendan for earnings, but sometimes there must be something happening there.
Okay, so we
AMC, baby.
We know Shopify's not right, but that's all right. The big one there is going to be Apple. Lyft should be interesting because of what we saw with Uber. I feel like Lyft and DoorDash.
Bumble, Expedia, Coinbase.
That's why this Coinbase is such a basic.
This is big.
I like DraftKings. We already blocked.
Look,
I mean, this
Shopify
is
obviously already reported that shouldn't be there. You know what? So Shopify shouldn't be there. All you really need is just put one name in bold in front of everything, and that should be context logic.
There you watch this. As we happen live.
That's what I'm talking about.
For you right there. Get out of there.
That's
Shopify,
what I'm talking about. Get it out of there. And just make sure.
Today.
No, just take them all out of there and just let's focus on probably the best. We talked about blue chip stocks the other day. The number 1 blue chip stock in the entire market, and that is context logic. Context logic.
You're dropping the mic on context logic. It sounds like it. There it is. We are out of Tesla. Wow.
You know how I feel about it.
Oh my God.
That's it, man. That was great trading at the end of the day on the short. And we remain true to ourselves, man. We talked about going bearish. Oh, I was going to say it was the other one. We were bearish this morning, man. We tweeted out that graphic that we loved, and there it is right now. We make the money back on these bearish stances into the end of the day, and we got the tops. We also have the tops in the bottom here on Tesla as well. So that was worked out really, really well for us, and 310 was the number to sell on that. It's just funny because like 310 was the number, and that generally doesn't do anything, but today meant a lot as only 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes to go. We've got karate and gymnastics tonight. So
there's like a STEM open house in my daughter's school. So where everyone goes in and they show off like the science.
Yeah, STEM. Yeah,
stuff that they've got. Yeah, this should be a heck of a lot of fun. That PRVA, they had a secondary offering priced today. So obviously that imbalance has something to do with it. That's why, like, the stock gapped and was just. This is why you see this happen. Like, the stock was getting trounced today, gapping down on the secondary offering, and then did this in the middle of the day, and then comes out with a gigantic buy imbalance. So clearly somebody was a little offside in this thing after the gap to the downside, and they're trying to, and they must have got stuck, and they're just looking to buy and had a bunch to put into the closing auction. There was enough to get them out there. Yeah, somebody got trapped on this offering. I guess they thought it was going to be weaker and they were shorting it or something like that. And you can see they've been struggling to cover. Somebody had a buy algo on this and got burned, in my opinion. But we care about Apple. That's going to be the big one. I don't love the fact that we're selling off. To see Microsoft, which, by the way, Microsoft was strong after its earnings, holding that level. So to see that turn, maybe not the best sign in the world. Apple kind of ending on a middle of the range note, but it has pulled back off of that 170. So I can't say that I'm feeling that encouraged about what Friday is going to look like here. I don't know. It feels kind of weak. I'm just going to be watching this PRVA into the close just to see if somebody has to get out past yesterday's high.
What a great day for sports, man. Someone just put Lakers in the chat. Yeah, we got lots of great games today. Heat, Knicks. I think that should be today anyways, if it's every 2 days. The Lakers, if it's every 2 days, is tonight as well. And then, of course, the Maple Leafs. And we'll leave the Blue Jays alone. They're struggling right now. But
you can't win them all on baseball.
No, they're 18 and 13. I think that's great for them.
Good.
That's great.
That's not good enough, though. That's only like a 93 win pace. You need like
better than last year. I have over under 92.5. So yeah, I'll take it. But I don't want to sweat
they need to win 100 to win the division.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to sweat that one out near the end. We got great prices on Tesla and Microsoft, but with only 20 seconds left, Katrine.
Sorry, not to make you run. You don't have to run. You have some time. You don't have to run.
Yeah, I mean it's
9.
Well,
not that
steps.
much.
5 giant.
In 7, 6, 5. She goes from running to like chilling out and walking. In 3, 2, and.
There we go. The best bell rung yet. Just
always
nice and
styling,
calm.
too.
Nice and calm.
Yes. But she's not wearing blue. That's the only downside.
Right.
Yeah, the bull got a little sleepy in the afternoon. He dozed off, and the bear took the win.
Yes, he did.
Obviously.
Bears for the win today, baby. All right. So, well, I mean, a lot of stocks are up and down. You could have won, obviously, either way.
I'm also just noting that bagel's been there since yesterday. I'm throwing
Which
that
bagel?
out. On Katrine's desk. I'm throwing that out after.
Katrine, man, she's hoarding bagels.
She's working so hard that she doesn't have time to eat. That's what's going on.
I
that's what I just told
Neil
everybody.
just said it was from yesterday. So.
Whatever, it's fine.
All right, me and Rob got to test something, so we're going to get out of here very, very soon. So let's go over to Brendan at the big desk for a recap.
There we go. Quick one. Here we go, guys. Some red numbers to show you once again. It was 2 days in a row here. The Russell 2000 faring the worst, 1.3 to the downside, 0.86, 0.72 there for the Dow and the S&P. NASDAQ down here, not as bad, about 0.5%. Under pressure still, though, as tech actually fared a little bit better. Remember, Apple 430, typically, anyways, guys, so nothing to see right now.
Yeah, not a lot to see. Look, obviously, we can talk to death about it, but until it comes out, like, what difference does it make with regards to Apple? Like, you know, it can go either way. Qualcomm wasn't that great,
Square, man.
and
Square
it could come into the
DraftKings.
downside. But, like, are any of those supposed to come early?
I mean, who knows when they're supposed to come?
We just know Apple's late.
Yeah, Apple will be 430, and then Square and DraftKings are going to be big for that. I think Coinbase, I mean, they could be disastrous or they could be fantastic. But
well, the squeeze is why it would go up.
Right, we'll just throw darts at those names.
It's still shorted.
And see what happens there. Square just made a move, but it's not out. So, okay, what a great show again one more time. I mean, today's a big day to thank everyone in IT because they're spinning around trying to figure out how we can get these wicks fixed and move over desks and things like that. So big shout out to Rob and everybody that's been helping us today. Mahad, Fahad, Brendan, everybody. Thanks to Frank Caberna. Thanks to Rahim Alani as well for stopping through. And Luis Barbado we had this morning. Wow, 3-pack today, Brendo. Pretty good. I feel like this is one of our better shows. Make sure everyone hits the like button. Anything you want to talk about, Brendo?
Just excited for Apple, guys. We'll see. This is going to be a big, big moment for the market, I think.
I would agree, and that's why I sort of started to pair some tech names off. So hopefully Apple doesn't rip up like 40%, and then all these tech names will be way up, and I'll be rejecting my move today. But so far, so good, man. Thanks to Katrine for ringing both bells as well. Thanks to my wife for being in the chat. And shout out to everybody that's got kids out there, man, because I saw James is taking his kids out. You're always doing something with your daughter. I'm doing that as well. So big day ahead tonight, man. Go Leafs, go. It's a sports kind of Thursday, man. Sit on a patio here in Toronto. It's really nice. And we will see
It's going to rain, I think.
Is it, Neil? You have to be a damper on that?
No.
Like,
okay, I'm just saying, man. Like, I don't want
I try to be positive.
I know, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, that's the truth.
Is it supposed to rain?
It is.
Now I'm going to look it up.
It is supposed to rain.
All right, so hopefully it doesn't. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. Make sure you join us tomorrow where we'll be going over all these earnings and telling you about our plays, and hopefully they are good ones. So from everybody here at Trader TV Live, that's Neil Brennan. I'm Sean, and we'll check you in the AM. Ciao.